Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, let's not pretend that we all know how this Viking season's going to actually play out. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Let's not pretend that we know that this team is 100% totally sunk just because JJ McCarthy's injury is season-ending, which we found out yesterday.
We know how this Viking season is going to play out, and every other Viking season is going to play out. They all played out the same before. They're all going to play. They're Minnesota nice. They're going to be right around, I don't know, they'll have a blip here where they're pretty good, make the second round. Like, there's nothing about this franchise that is unpredictable.
Okay, but here's the thing. We watched McCarthy, granted, in a preseason game, end his career at Michigan, but the preseason game, and thought, wow, they might have something here, along with Justin Jefferson, who is one of the greatest wide receivers. And I know Minnesota's had great wide receivers in the past, but it only takes one to break through. And I don't think this is a Super Bowl team necessarily, guys, but let's stop pretending that we know that it's going to be the Vikings finishing dead last in this division. You don't know that, and I don't know that. And you can try to go on paper. We can crystal ball this thing, and I'm not the biggest Sam Darnold fan. I know watching him play football in New York was like some kind of torture. But let's not pretend that we don't know how the season's going to turn out, because it's not like the Minnesota Vikings sat on their hands this offseason. They did make some additions. They got the deal done with Justin Jefferson. It doesn't look like Jordan Addison, who was carted off the field yesterday. It doesn't look like this is going to be serious, although we thought that about McCarthy 24 hours ago. But meanwhile, Darnold could hold the fort for you. Mm-hmm. They have Aaron Jones that they brought over in the run game. That's not nothing. So he can hold the fort for you. And this is reminiscent, I think. You bring this up a lot, and it's a fair point. There was a couple years ago where we thought the AFC West was all of a sudden going to be the best division, right? Yeah. It was like Sean Payton had gotten to Denver, or Russell Wilson had just gotten to get to Denver, pardon me. And it was going to be Mahomes. And we thought, look at Jimmy Garoppolo with this Josh McDaniels 1-2 punch. And Herbert's clearly got one of the livest arms in the NFL. And what happened? That division fell off. The bottom line is we don't know. We don't know if everything is going to go perfectly for Detroit. We don't know if it's going to go perfectly for Green Bay. Caleb Williams, still a rookie. Looks great. Still a rookie. Matt Eberflus, not many people believe. So I think that the Vikings here there's still hope. Like, I wouldn't wake up and have my head in my hands and be all down in the dumps just because JJ McCarthy is going to be out for the year.
If I could make a special deal with YouTube Sunday Ticket and have the Vikings pulled off my YouTube, because I already know exactly what's going to happen. And forget the JJ. They're going to be somewhere between 7 and 10 wins. They're going to be really spunky and maybe like at one point upset a good team like they did San Francisco last year, who was injured. But there's just like, not only forget this year, like, where is this franchise going, Maggie? You know nothing's happening here. You know those things you just described are not reality. There's no way that all three of those teams are not going to be good.
Okay,
Green Bay, Detroit, and Chicago. So what are we doing? Like, what's the point?
Where the Vikings are going, I think, is to a place that actually is kind of exciting, because I was not sold on McCarthy. I know I got a lot of criticism for it because I wasn't sure how he's going to translate. You know what? It turns out he could be one of those guys in this epic quarterback class that you keep telling me are all getting fitted for gold jackets. Yeah. So I do feel okay about that. And I do think that the owners of the Minnesota Vikings are going to give the coaching staff and the general manager a little bit of grace here. This has been a hiccup. So if you can hold the fort, which they did last year when they lost a quarterback in Kirk Cousins who was having an MVP season, and they didn't fall off the map, and they had guy after guy after guy coming in. It was Nick Mullins, it was the Pasternaut, we had a million dudes. And you had Justin Jefferson, who was dealing with an injury for a good portion of the season. And they didn't totally fall off the map. They didn't bottom out. They didn't win 3 games. It wasn't that bad. So, to me, I'm trying to give Vikings fans a little hope here. Kevin O'Connell makes this offense as easy for a quarterback as possible. And that's exactly what Sam Darnold needs to be a competent quarterback in this league. And you just don't know. We all think on paper that we write down how we think these playoffs are going to play out, and Green Bay is automatically going to take this gigantic step forward, and Caleb Williams is automatically going to come in and light the world on fire, and we automatically think that there's no shot that the Lions have any of the scar tissue from last year and holding a 2-touchdown lead in an NFC championship game and losing it. We all just assume everyone's moving in the same direction. It doesn't always work like that. So if I'm the Vikings, I'm not feeling like all is lost this year.
No. But all was never anything anyway. This is a rebuilding year under best of circumstances. So maybe you're right. Maybe miracles happen. They sneak in as a wild card. But again, what's the point of that? I guess you are building around JJ McCarthy. So this is good to have a year off. But basically, it's a year off. Yeah, and I mean, first, have you looked at their schedule?
Yeah, it's rough in the beginning.
In the beginning, through that, it actually doesn't get any easier. Unless those NFC North teams totally bottom out with injuries, it's going to be one of the top 3 hardest schedules in the NFL. So it's going to be tough. I think that if things go well, they get 7 wins. If things go badly, they get 4 wins. But here's the issue. Like, what are they doing as a franchise? I feel like there's something missing. I love Kevin O'Connell. I think he's so cool.
I know you do. You always praise him.
But honestly, like, I feel like you think of what makes a champion, Bill Belichick and culture, Kansas City with Mahomes or Reed. When is Minnesota going to get that? I hate to say it, they're like your Buffalo team.
Yeah, well, a lot of heartbreak.
Yeah, I mean, they've never really gotten, like, something's missing. Even if JJ McCarthy's good, and like, I just feel like, Kevin O'Connell's such a nice guy, and JJ McCarthy's a nice little quarterback. What is that special ingredient that's missing? They're in limbo, Maggie, in like NBA limbo, but it's NFL limbo. Like, there's a variance of where they can go. It doesn't feel like they're building towards the ultimate goal, which is Super Bowl title.
See, I disagree. Like, you have JJ McCarthy that you took top 10, and he could end up being one of the successful stories from this draft. So What else do? You get yourself a good left tackle. They have one of those. They have one of the highest paid left tackles in the entire league. So you have somebody to protect JJ McCarthy. You have a run game, and you have a coach who has a run game. You have the best wide receiver in the entire league.
Yeah, I know. And what does that add up to?
And you've got defensive guys. You added Grenard. You have Brian Flores, who's confusing the heck out of people. This is not nothing here. Now, is the timing a little bit rough for them because you also have other good young quarterbacks who are in the NFC North? Yeah, but you know what? It's never going to be perfect. And again, not everybody is going to have these like awesome on paper seasons. So I think that the Minnesota is looking good. Again, I was down on McCarthy, but I saw him. He was, at least it was a preseason game. I get that. But had command at the line of scrimmage, apparently changing things, making checks, doing all the things that like more advanced quarterbacks do. And that's because he played 50 college games. He may have thrown 5 passes in those 50 games, but he has a ton of experience. So I think the future is bright for Minnesota. And this year, you have to sort of weather the storm and be okay and be there to make a move if any of your other foes falter.
The Super Bowl era started in 1966. The Vikings have not won one.
I know.
That's 57 years.
I know.
Are they going another 57?
Oh my gosh, no.
Well, I mean, obviously, I just don't see. I like all these people you're talking about. I think they're really an interesting franchise in the sense that like they can't get over the hump.
Okay, but did you not watch the Chicago Cubs? Have we not seen the Boston Red Sox? Did we not see the Cleveland Cavaliers win a title? These things end. Maybe not this year for the Vikings, but they will end. It will end.
Actually, all those franchises did radical turns. You know, Boston went Moneyball with Bill James and all that stuff. The Cubs gutted their entire team and then brought in a new team. Like they did Cubs did a great process, my 76 process. Who was the other one that you said? The
Cavs.
Your Cavs got LeBron.
Okay, but
give me LeBron. In fact, you might get LeBron right now.
I'm just saying.
You need that kind of radical sea change there. And unfortunately, this really isn't even about JJ McCarthy because you're right. I think they made the right move taking him number 10 this year. But I'm not sure where we're going. And I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way. They're like the Minnesota nice team. What
would you suggest then? Like what if you're being negative about them, but you're not being solution based. So what's your solution? Because I'm saying go forward and that things are good and you have guys in critical places, and that makes me confident. What do you want them to do? You want them to strip it down?
Strip it down, whole culture change. maybe Yeah, I mean, like,
take a year off as a franchise? Like what? Go on sabbatical, gap year? What do you, a trip to Egypt? Like, what do you want them to do?
Yeah, I like Kevin O'Connell, and I think he's a good coach. But honestly, I'm thinking like the Patriots in 2000 when they brought in Belichick, or the Cowboys when they brought in Jimmy Johnson. I think you need something big.
Okay, so who's that person?
Well, I didn't know that Jimmy Johnson was going to be Jimmy Johnson.
Okay. But find a generational, once-in-a-lifetime coach, step one.
Well, I mean, it could be, I guess you could bring in Belichick. But, yeah, I mean, like, they gotta really take a different direction. Don't you think? I mean, like, you're a Bills fan who can't get to the Super Bowl. At least you have Josh Allen. I'm not sure where this Vikings team is going. And I wonder, I wouldn't go with Bill Belichick right now, but I would go with try and find somebody who's completely different. Just everything you're doing is not working. I think some of this is ownership. Like, I think that they've been a little bit inconsistent. You know, they had that great year with my buddy Case Keenum.
Yeah.
And then they tore up the team immediately.
Minnesota Miracle, yeah.
Yeah, they were 13-3 and just tore up the whole team. And then they were just so consistently 10-6 or when there were 16 games. And now they're consistently somewhere around 10 games with no chance in the playoffs. Like, aren't you getting tired of this as a Vikings fan?
Well, yeah, I'm sure they're tired of it because they haven't won yet. But I think this is a moment in the road, a fork in the road where you actually have optimism because of the McCarthy pick. And, you know, they did do something radical because their last coach was Mike Zimmer. And he was the defensive guy, and then they flipped and went offense. And it's a little like when you break up with somebody and you kind of are on the rebound and, like, you date a person who's not like the last person you dated. But, like, that's what you kind of can ask for. Like, they're hoping for their next, you know, Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, and Kevin O'Connell was with all those guys.
So what happens after this year? Say, you know, their win total in Vegas is at 7. Yeah. What happens if they go 7-10?
Then, you know what? The bottom didn't drop out. And you're probably thinking, all right, we've got a team that can be in the mix. And if we can add our quarterback to that, because quarterbacks change things for franchises. And if we can add JJ McCarthy to that and he can elevate us, then we're going to be in good shape. We're going to be vying for either division titles or wild cards.
Oh, man. Vying for wild cards. Print that T-shirt up.
I mean, what do you want? It's
I
better
want
than the
more.
process.
I want a ring.
Well, Perloff, everybody does. They did spend money this offseason. They're spending money on Justin Jefferson. They're not cheaping out. They're not being like that. I think they're doing the things you want them to do. You might, you say you believe in Kevin O'Connell, but I don't think you do. Because you're asking for Bill Belichick to come in to take the reins on JJ McCarthy?
I like KOC. I'd get him in another team. Because honestly, this team has got limbo written all over it. By the way, you keep on saying they spend money, and Jonathan Grenard, the fact that the Texans let Grenard walk out of the door, it says something to me.
I think that was a mistake, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. The Texans made a lot of mistakes personnel-wise in the last 3 years.
It's been 1 year. Okay, it's been 1 year with the Texans that we've seen this really play out. And that 1 year last year shocked the heck out of everybody. So let's not start going like they're the greatest franchise since sliced bread. It was only a few years ago that they were a laughing stock. So, I think they got younger. Like they swapped out Danielle Hunter basically for Grenard. And so they got younger at the position. They're setting this thing up for the future.
They're setting this thing for the future. Someday, if everything goes right, they're going to be vying for wild cards.
I said end division titles.
Wow, let's be realistic. You got Jordan Love, you got Caleb Williams, you got the Lions.
Yeah,
they're vying for wild cards, but that's fine. By the way, I too disagree with you on one thing.
What's that?
I think I've always thought Darnold was better than you think he is. He's going to be totally fine here. He's going to be Kirk Cousins 2.0. He'll probably throw 25 touchdowns, 11 picks, and they'll win 7 games.
Kirk Cousins has made like $300 million in his career. I don't know if Darnold's in line for that. Now, do you guys want to play a trivia game? Or would you like a trivia question? How old is Sam Darnold?
My guess is 27.
You're right. He's 27 years old. This guy's lived 4 NFL lifetimes, and he's 27. He's like the same age as Penix.
But wait, you thought Sam Darnold was older?
Yeah, he's been in the league. This is his 4th team.
Well, you keep saying that, but it's sort of his 4th team. Carolina and San Francisco, do they really count?
Yes. Yes, they do. He was in Carolina. He was brought in to be the starter in Carolina, was there for 2 years.
There is no way Sam Darnold was in Carolina for 2 years.
He was.
There's no way.
Yes, he was.
Did anybody see Sam Darnold play in Carolina for 2 years and can prove what Maggie is saying right now? I don't even care what the stats say.
I did watch it.
Sam Darnold was a Carolina Panthers quarterback for 2 seasons?
Well, he was on the team.
Wow.
They expected him to be the quarterback, and then he got hurt.
This is his second chance for all intents and purposes.
This is his 3rd chance.
No. Carolina does not count in any way whatsoever.
It does. 855.
Well, how does Carolina count? That team was a
They had
traitor.
McCaffrey at the time. They actually still had DJ Moore. They had all the guys there, and Darnold was brought in as the reclamation project. They picked up his 5th-year option, sight unseen.
Do you remember who the other quarterback was for the Panthers in Sam Darnold's last year there in 2022?
Cam Newton.
No.
Oh, Baker.
Yes.
Yeah, Baker.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
That was the Panthers quarterback room 2 years ago.
Cam ended up coming in Darnold's 1st year in Carolina.
Yes.
To quote-unquote save the day.
Baker Mayfield never played in Carolina. No.
Remember that flight he had to take when he got traded to the Rams? He learned the playbook.
Were you in a coma those 2 years, Perloff? Like, what's going on? You don't remember any of this?
Baker Mayfield in Carolina? No, that never happened.
Football coma.
In a coma. Give me a break. Like, you were sitting there studying the X's and O's of the Panthers. Shut up, everybody. You guys are all... First of all, this whole thing is ludicrous. Literally, Maggie, come on. You can say those nice things about the Vikings. You're not even going to tune in the Vikings unless you have a fantasy player going on.
Well, of Justin Jefferson. And Jordan Addison.
The bottom line is everyone talks like, trust me, I've been through a process. Everyone talks like it's fine, like, we're going to be fine. Sam Darnold's going to be quarterback and we're going to be okay. It stinks to lose. And weird things start happening in franchises when you lose. Their schedule is insane. So they're going to be 2-6 with Sam Darnold. And everyone's going to be like, what are we doing here? It feels... That's when you should switch to JJ McCarthy. And now that switch is not going to happen. And by the way, since when does a meniscus take you out this long? Like, dude, just trim that thing and get back out there, JJ. Rub some dirt on it.
I believe yesterday Perloff referred to this as a sprained ankle. And the guy's out for the season. Maybe we shouldn't be doing the medical advice.
I heard that Albert Breer said that normally he could be back in December, but the team is already preemptively shutting it down. This will be the first rookie ever to miss the entire season.
I saw that. I was shocked by that.
Because you're 21, there's unless you tear your ACL in camp, there's no reason you should. I mean, he could get back out there. a meniscus, in all seriousness, like you shouldn't miss this much time with the meniscus.
I know, but why would they say that then?
Because it's like, what's the point of playing him again, right? Like, what's the point of, you kidding me? Aaron Rodgers would probably be out there by week 5 after what he tried last year. It's just like, they're, right, like say they're good with Sam Darnold, then they're not going to put in JJ McCarthy. And if they're bad, there's no reason to put in JJ McCarthy. So I'm not sure what we're doing here in Minnesota, but it just feels like another lost season. I'm frustrated. I wish the Viking fans would call in and tell me I'm wrong. I just feel like this is going nowhere. We're spinning our wheels. At least in Buffalo, you're getting closer. No.
We'll see. 855
You're winning the division every year.
4227. I'm happy we have like our, I can't say number 1, number 2 Josh Allen fan is in the building today. And you owe him an apology.
Who's that?
We'll get to it next. 855-212-4227. Okay, you're welcome to weigh in on the Minnesota Vikings and on JJ McCarthy. We also had a trade yesterday. This one was unique for our friends in Atlanta, where we know we are on every morning and appreciate you guys. We'll break down the Matthew Judon trade next. And is this setting up for a run of dominance here for the Falcons? It's Maggie and Perloff. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. I'm a little salty here. I was accused of being in a football coma because I didn't remember the 5 Baker Mayfield games with the Panthers.
How dare you?
Can you name the coach who is coaching Baker Mayfield? I'm even looking at the coaching.
That rule was gone. Oh, it was your boy, Frank Reich.
No.
Oh.
Not even close.
Oh, sorry. That was with Bryce Young.
I can't even do the math here. It was either Steve Wilkes or Matt Rule. No one on earth cares.
Oh, right. It was Matt Rule and he got fired. Then it was Steve Wilkes.
I don't know who was there when Baker played those 5 games. And why did Baker only play 5 games? Only God knows.
He got traded to the Rams.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if he was playing.
No, he was I think he did actually start it was like a camp battle.
I wouldn't bet your life on that one.
Listen, I remember. I have a memory of this.
So do your math here. Why did he play 5 games? Because he got traded to the Rams later in the season, as I recall.
Well, it had to be before the trade deadline, right? Or did they cut him?
I believe they cut him.
And then the Rams signed him. And it was right before that Thursday night game, and he learned the playbook on the flight and then beat the Raiders.
Yeah, I remember that. I just don't remember what happened with Carolina.
I Googled, and I found Panthers bench Baker Mayfield again. This was right like Thanksgiving week.
There you go.
Happy holidays.
Who they benched him for? Was it Darnold?
I think it was Sam. Yeah, because Sam played, I think, the rest of the year starting from like week 11
was that
on.
Cam? Or that wasn't a Cam year?
No, Cam was gone by then.
No, 2022 was Baker and Sam almost exclusively. I think he maybe had a little PJ Walker, like one game, little shot in the dark.
When did Cam come back? That was 21 then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. No, I'm actually proud of not remembering any of this rotating garbage right there. I mean, those are all fine quarterbacks, but that situation was really bad. I blame Matt Rule. Anyway, I don't even know how we got here. I was actually fuming in the break thinking about, like, what are the Vikings doing? I think I nailed it. They need to find their Bill Belichick. They need to find their Sean McVay. I love Kevin O'Connell, but I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing here? We're just spinning our wheels forever. I am not an in-season tournament guy. I care about championships.
Okay.
And I do not see any trajectory where the Minnesota Vikings are getting towards a championship. Honestly, you know who they should have hired?
Who?
I mean, they shouldn't let Harbaugh out of the building. We know it now. I mean,
listen, he was in the Vikings facility on signing day. I mean, if that's not a bleep you to Michigan at the time, I don't know what else is. He's trying to play hardball, and he either used the Vikings to get a better contract at Michigan, or the Vikings were not interested because they didn't want to give him full keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where they were afraid to give all that power to Harbaugh, which is, I think that's what you have to do. You have to bring in a guy who just kind of boxes everybody out. Now, the GM Quickie is seems really good, but we haven't seen any of this stuff work out yet. So I don't know. And by the way, the team we're going to talk about later today reminds me of the Atlanta Falcons.
Let's talk about the Falcons now for a moment because they made a trade yesterday with the New England Patriots. They got Matthew Judon, and Bogusch is here. I'm sure he's going to update us on all this stuff. But here's the funny thing about this. Yeah. If they don't have a contract in place with him, did they not just make the same exact mistake that the Jets did with Hassan Reddick? First of all, so let's make sure this guy gets in the building and is getting paid. I haven't seen about coming to terms with a new contract for him.
But don't they want? I think they've been like kind of clamoring to pay a defensive end or pass rusher all offseason. They'd be like, "We want one, we want one, we want one."
So they're going to probably give him whatever he wants. And I think it's really a smart idea because we thought that for the Atlanta Falcons that maybe Dallas Turner or someone else was going to be a focal point for them in the draft. Dallas Turner actually with the Minnesota Vikings, bring that full circle. But this could be a great addition of a veteran guy who's coming off, yes, an injury, but clearly confident in his ability. And who's going to put up resistance now against the Falcons, right? Like, who is their biggest challenge? I still think the Bucs have another good season in them, but it has not gone well with the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. And who the heck knows what's going on with the New Orleans Saints in what could be the last year of Derek Carr. So, I mean, for Atlanta, if this Judon thing works out, this could begin a real stretch for them where they can dominate that NFC South. And you know what that means? A home game in the playoffs every year.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Why not?
Because the NFC South,
negative today.
The NFC South for many, many years has been the most topsy-turvy division in NFL. They seem to just rotate who's on top there. I think they're very much like Minnesota. And this move, they're plugging holes and trying to go piece at a time instead of going overall, like, how do we build a champion? It's just the way they were drafting those skill position players every single draft. I feel like they're more a plug-and-play team than, like, let's build a champion. There's just something – they're going to be good, don't get me wrong, but I just don't feel like they are going to be good. You know what I mean? Good. Does good make sense?
Good. They're going to just be good?
Yeah, like I think they win the division at 10-7 and go out in the second round for a long time.
You
ad infinitum.
You want to say that they need a new culture. Belichick's on the yacht with the owner.
I know,
literally on the yacht. You think you get to the yacht? I got the job. Like,
we're switching places here because you're the Belichick guy, you're the Harbaugh guy, and I just gave Jim Harbaugh to the Vikings, and now I'm giving. They probably should have gone Belichick.
I don't know. Why isn't Raheem Morris? Why can't he be a good coach? He's got all the makings. Yeah. It's the second time around. He got the first job maybe a little too young. Reminds you a little bit of Belichick maybe when he was with Cleveland, and then he got the second job, and he understands the mistakes. They have a lot of weapons. Kirk, who knows? Michael Penix already looked good in at least that preseason game. He's, older quarterback.
Well, what makes you afraid, I think, is the fact that Belichick came in the building and it seemed like people were afraid to lose their jobs to Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So basically there was a power grab where the GM and people in the front office wanted to keep their power.
Sure.
And the problem with that is there's not like one singular voice building this team in a championship way. Raheem Morris could be a good coach. Zach Robinson could be a great offensive coordinator, but it just doesn't feel like they're all moving towards like that next level. I'm talking about, they're going to be good. I actually am going to pick them for the division too, but we're talking about that next level, like championship. Like, what are you doing here? Why are we trying to get to the playoffs? We need to win a title.
They did the ultimate thing you can do, which I criticized at the time, which is double down on quarterback. That's the one thing that has to get, like, you can't mess around. You need it. So they gave $100 million to Kirk, and then they spent the 8th overall pick on Penix. I thought you would love what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. This is like how I've been sitting next to you for 3 years, and we've been friends for a decade. I know this is how you would build a team.
I love the quarterback, but they have a lot of damage from 3 or 4 wasted drafts. I mean, they've wasted these drafts.
Well, I don't know. Can you say that 100%?
Yes.
What if Drake London ends up being good? What if Bijan ends up being a difference maker? We're not sure about
And Kyle
that.
Pitts. Yeah.
And Pitts has not been good. But if you believe Sam Darnold can have a second life, you got to believe Kyle Pitts can find it.
Because you build champions from the line out. You have to have they actually do have a pretty good offensive line, but you have to build in the trenches. So now they have to overpay for an older Judon. It feels like they're sort of kind of like the Vikings, just like sort of plugging and playing without a huge plan in place.
855-212-4227. We're on at Atlanta. Is Perloff being overly negative today? A little bit. You are a little salty.
I'm totally. I didn't.
Are you hungry? Are you hangry?
No, I didn't. I think I ran out of coffee this morning.
Let's get some for you.
No. I've had 2 cups. Like I woke up and I do the Keurig with the pods, and the pods ran out, and I ordered them from Costco, and they were supposed to arrive yesterday. So I came downstairs, no coffee.
Oh God. I mean, I feel for you. If you just said that, we would have rescheduled the whole show.
And then I was late because I had to take an Uber this morning, and the Uber kept circling around the block and wouldn't pick me up. Everything's going wrong. And now JJ McCarthy, who I loved, got hurt. And then I forgot Baker Mayfield was a Panther.
It is very uncharacteristic morning for you.
And my arch enemy is in the building.
Oh, my gosh. I don't even know if we have time to get to that.
My arch enemy. Who has no idea I exist, by the way.
The level of shame that I feel off of this is incalculable.
Can you recount your reaction to when you actually saw Andrew Bogusch, his son?
So Bogusch is here, and his son Jake has been cool enough to grace us with his presence this morning. And in my mind, for some reason, I always picture Jake being in high school or something.
Yeah, with the dip in his lip and some facial hair.
We talk about his travel baseball team a lot. You know, it's like it's our friends' kids, so we're always talking about our kids around here. And in my mind, Jake's just older.
Yeah.
And he walks in today. He's a child. Yeah. We definitely made fun of his baseball team.
Stop saying we.
Yes, Perloff roasted his baseball team, and we were all complicit. Not Jake himself. Jake is great. But you went hard after the other kids on the team. They're children. That was a mistake.
I think the mistake right now is you taking it easy on these kids for playing poor fundamental baseball. I
appreciate your commitment to this.
I believe.
I'm just talking about safety. If there's a pop-up in the center field and somebody call, I got it. Is it that hard, Bogusch? How long have you been working with these little rascals to get them to call a pop-up?
Yeah, it's taken too long. That's fair.
I was just talking about pure safety, Maggie. You should see. It's like the ball goes up in the air and 4 kids combine on each other and run into each other and nobody gets the ball. Like they could bonk heads. It's terrible.
I believe you said something like, "Oh, it will take me an hour to get to that game. Jake's team could lose 4 times." And then I believe that was it. They could lose 4 times by then.
Well, first of all, Bogusch is
they're 8 years old.
This is not just me. Bogusch is a little bit to blame. Like, you thought he was older because, like, he keeps his OPS and, like, there's, like, analytics for his team.
Maybe that's it.
The travel. And
his agent will be here later.
It is a little bit too.
Drew Rosenhaus walks in.
Like, 5th grade baseball, like, basically, you showed me what you have to spend to get that kid out on the field. He has, like, a $90 sliding glove. Like, it's basically little major league right now, the way they approach it. There's something, you know what I'm saying?
Production.
Like, there's a lot going on there.
No, you're right. You're traveling to all these tournaments. I just kind of assumed he'd walk in and kind of look like, I don't know, Aaron Judge or something.
Yeah.
I wish.
He's a child.
Is he tracking his OPS plus and his launch angle bugs?
I have. There is an app for that. Yeah.
His WRC plus.
Maggie thinks it's weird that you're driving an 8-year-old to play a tournament in Delaware. But that's it. That's what we do now, right?
Yeah.
It's not just you, Bogusch. It's a lot of dads I know are like, oh my God, I got to take my 9-year-old to Omaha or something.
And comparatively speaking, we're spending like $2 on this. You should. Yeah. You should see what the upper rungs of 10U baseball look like.
I did hear about that. Yeah. It is thousands and thousands of dollars. But then for that, you have to be really good, though.
Yeah, that's the hurdle.
Stop. That's not fair. Came over like expecting to see Jake, like we'd have some kind of like elaborate handshake or something like LeBron James and his teammates. And I'm like, oh, you're a kid playing video games over here.
He's got a pacifier in his mouth. I got to burp him in a little bit.
That's a Josh Allen Childs jersey because he's a kid and he should stay a kid, you know? And Perloff shouldn't be making fun of his teammates.
Maggie has no idea the production that goes into Little League Baseball these days. You're going to get there. There's nothing little kid about this. This is like this is basically like Major League Baseball on a small level in Long Island.
And if we use the let's run over Kyle Filipowski addendum, she's going to come in here and start crushing Lucas's teammates at their first chance. When little Todd messes up when Lucas is pitching, look out.
This is the woman who tore apart an NFL assistant coach for bringing his kid up to the podium after a playoff
as a
win.
shield. Yeah.
You're not exactly.
He was the head coach.
You're not exactly empathetic. Oh, wait, which coach was it? Sirianni?
It was Sirianni.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm going to be a shrew. Do we have any headlines?
We do.
No,
and they are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your home and auto. Save when you bundle. Get a quote at progressive.com. Here's something I didn't think you could do. Brewers owner Mark Atanasio being accused of stealing sand from Broad Beach in Malibu. Atanasio bought a house nearby in 2007 for $23 million. They're doing some renovations now. He has a permit to repair a seawall, but neighbors now say The excavators are picking up sand from the beach and bringing it to the house for some reason. The heavy machinery is leaving behind gasoline and oil residue, messing up the beach, maybe harming the marine life. Atanasio's lawyers say he's abiding by all the permits he has.
Did you see the excavators that he had out on his property? It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Like the machines?
Yeah.
I did not see it. I saw the headline and I was baffled by it.
This is like how to tick off your neighbors 101. It's like, I guess if you spend $23 million, you're like, whatever, I don't care who I tick off. But this is not the way to ingratiate yourself in the neighborhood. Is all of a sudden you're stealing everybody's sand.
Wow, that's a high-end neighborhood, right?
Yeah. I need to know where the sand is going. I didn't read that part. Like, is he filling in holes? Is he making his own private beach? Like, what is he allegedly stealing the sand for?
Castles.
Right?
I don't know.
He's making us whatever. What's their stadium called now? It's not. I don't think it's Miller Life Park anymore. Is it? It's got, I think, an insurance company name. He's making like a sand version of that in his backyard.
Maybe the slide that the mascot slides down.
Why does he live in Malibu if he's a Brewers owner?
Because he's rich as.
Great question.
Malibu versus Milwaukee.
I don't know.
I know you're not good with geography, driving through Oregon to get to New Orleans or San Antonio, but.
Yeah, I mean, like
you can't understand why he'd want to live in Malibu.
Or have a second house in Malibu.
I just the baseball season goes from April through October. Don't you have to go to all the Brewers games?
I mean, he's not the pitcher.
I'm just saying, like, you got to sit up there in the box. Like, he's basically going to be chilling in Malibu on his new beach and not watching what's going on with the team.
He could take a PJ from Malibu to Milwaukee every day if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Also not good for the environment.
Right. Or do road trips. They leave and he goes to Malibu and he comes back to Milwaukee when they do.
If there's one thing I've learned about Malibu, a place I've never been, but I'd like to go. We found out from Aaron Rodgers, bad cell reception. I think that would bother me.
It's also not, I guess is there a private plane? It's kind of a pain to get to LAX from Malibu. So I'm not sure if he's flying first class.
We're deep in the woods now. The guy's stealing sand.
Whatever, you just said deep in the woods. And he's every road trip, he's going to fly over to Malibu and then fly back.
He's the owner of the Brewers. He's definitely got a PJ.
Wait, but you think that somehow he's sitting in like row 23D next to the bathroom?
I was joking.
But that's not happening.
I think that guy's never going to go to another Brewers game. Once his Malibu pad is ready, I think he's out.
Once his sand is all in place?
Yeah. Like, honestly, and you think if you have this beautiful house in Malibu, you're going to be like, oh, let's get on the private plane and go back to see the baseball game. Just watch it on TV, right?
I'm not the first person to say this, but I know you're big in those real estate shows, and a lot of these Malibu. Yeah. That's where you get a lot of Malibu and a lot of beachfront. And it's always the person who's like, yeah, my budget's, like $800,000. And it's like, and I'm looking at a 4-bedroom in Malibu. I'm like,
you're watching the wrong shows.
How?
Oh, selling the OC, you can't even walk onto that show without a $45 million budget.
Well, that would be a little more true to form. I feel like I see other shows where these people clearly can't afford it.
Those are the renovation shows.
That's HGTV.
Yeah, the straight real estate ones. I was watching one yesterday, million dollar listing LA, and a guy was selling a house for like $27 million.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Maggie, we got to get you hooked on these shows.
Yeah.
You go for the houses, then you get into the inner office drama.
I don't even know if I want to say this.
The outfits are unbelievably weird.
The outfits.
They have like the women who are selling these houses are wearing $5 million outfits. It's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. They were like walking the catwalk and selling a 2-bedroom
for $8 million. I'm
going to find something that I came across on social media that plays into this, but I don't want to do this off the top of my head because I'm afraid I'm going to get myself in trouble. So I'll find it and then we'll come back and do it. Just hold every headline you had.
By the way, selling Paris is probably the best one. I highly recommend.
What's that on? Netflix?
That's on Netflix. Oh, the Paris real estate scene is on fire, Maggie.
How do you know this?
Because that's the only shows I watch are real estate shows.
Is Snoop Dogg also hosting that? Just leave him in Paris after
honestly,
a month of Olympics?
The reason I missed the Carolina Panthers Baker Mayfield experiment is because I was watching $1 Million Listing episodes I'd already seen before.
Reruns. $1 Million Listing is more exciting than the Panthers season.
It actually is. The Altman brothers are much better at football probably than Baker Mayfield.
Kickers, they were kickers at Syracuse.
That's right.
Yes. They were actually on the football team. You know what? I blame Bogus for this. We're trying to do a sports show. He knew if he mentioned real estate and Malibu that I was just going to get into my shows.
I'm just following orders.
Catnip. All right, hold every headline just for a second. I'm going to try to find this silly thing that I saw about real estate. I don't want to do this off the top of my head. I'll get in trouble. All right. We also have an injury update for you. Real stuff coming your way next also. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Okay, welcome back. We got so sidetracked in the last segment about the Brewers owner stealing sand for his neighbors to outfit his $1 million mansion in Malibu. We never got to the headlines, so Bogu's just hanging with us for another segment to actually tell us what the heck is going on right now. And I will get you that weird-ish thing that I heard on a real estate show. Okay, go ahead.
Aaron Judge, career homer number 300 in the Yankees' 10-2 win at the White Sox last night. He got there 132 games faster than anybody else. The Orioles, meanwhile, got a 2-game split with the Nats 4-1 to stay a half game behind the Bombers in the AL East. The Astros, meanwhile, able to build on their AL West lead.
3-2 again. And that's lined into center field for a base hit. Leone scores. Myers gets the stop sign at third. Mauricio Dubon with an RBI single in the Astros lead. 2-1 in the 10th.
That's Robert Ford on Astros radio. They won 2-1 in 10 in Tampa Bay for an 8-game win streak. The Mariners losing 3-2 in 10 in Detroit. So Houston's lead is now 2.5 games in the division. That Matthew Judon return for the Patriots is a third-round pick. Atlanta hoping that Judon becomes their first double-digit sack artist since Vic Beasley back in 2016. Meanwhile,
gosh.
I know, let that sink in. I don't know what's worse, the name or the year.
Vic Beasley?
Yeah.
We're closing in on a decade.
I was so high on Vic Beasley. Yeah, no, you're right. It feels like Atlanta cannot get that kind of defensive star.
Well, Grady Jarrett was a big star, but he wasn't.
I mean, he's a tackle.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that'll be fun. I love Matthew Judon, by the way. We're going to get later in the show, who's left on the Patriots?
Yeah, that's a question, too. Don't look at that depth chart.
Meanwhile, a rare in-division NFL trade. The Giants sending veteran D-tackle Jordan Phillips to the Cowboys for a 2026 sixth-round pick. And Hideki Matsuyama will play the St. Jude Classic. It begins today. It's the first event of the PGA postseason without his caddy and his coach. All three men were robbed in London recently. Those two lost their passport and visa, so they can't travel to the States. Matsuyama's wallet was taken, but not his travel documents or, thankfully, the bronze medal he won in Paris.
I have a question about one of the details in this story, because obviously this got a lot of attention. So they said that his wallet got stolen, Matsuyama's, and then his coach and his caddy both got their passports and visas stolen, right? Did they say where this happened?
I didn't read any actual details about how the robbery happened.
Right. So they were going from Paris. There was a layover in London.
They went to London before coming here post Paris.
Right. It kind of makes it seem like they were sitting around at the airport and someone pickpocketed them. I don't think that's what happened, though. I think they were out and about in London.
Yeah, they used the word layover, but it was multiple days, the way what I read.
Right.
They went to London with a mini break from the Olympics before going to Memphis.
Right. So I'm like, oh, these guys got robbed in a strip club or something. not that, but they got robbed in a more conventional way. They weren't sitting on the ground with their laptop, plugged into an outlet at Heathrow Airport.
I don't think so.
On a 10-hour layover and just hating life.
No, I'm guessing Matsuyama had the dad move of that weird fanny pack thing that you put to your chest.
Yep.
Where your important stuff is, and the other guys didn't, and they lost their bags.
I mean, it would have been a real scandal if the bronze medal was lost. Imagine you're the thief in that instance, and all of a sudden you steal someone's bag and you open it up and there's an Olympic medal in there. You're like, I'm in trouble.
Or you're going for the medal and you got everything but it.
I was going to say, wouldn't you go for the medal?
Right.
But can you sell that on the market?
No.
That's
for
want
keeps. Yeah. That's just for funsies.
But you're a thief.
I think you're forgetting too. We've had this conversation before. There's you can sell. There are non-official markets where you can sell stolen things.
Right. Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
But it feels like a
Perloff
gold
lives in the
medal's
black
pretty
market. Are you crazy?
It seems pretty easy to trace a gold medal for golf, or whatever.
Yeah. See, that's why I would be worried. All of a sudden, I'd be nervous. I came in for cash, and it's like, oh no, I stole somebody's bronze medal by accident. Now I got to ditch this medal.
Yeah, that's
throw
right.
it in
Or
the river.
melt it down, and like, is that really worth all that trouble?
Melt it down? What,
Yeah.
in some kind of workshop? How?
Yeah, no, it's gold.
No, it's
He's
bronze.
bronze.
Oh, well, is that valuable? Is bronze good?
Working your way through topics live in the moment is a great segment.
I was so...
Guys, it's gold. It's bronze.
I was listening.
Who said that? Me, 10 minutes ago.
There's something going on with a medal in an airport, and Maggie was, I don't know what she was talking about. And then, because I'm listening.
Golf in the Olympics?
I'm reading a ranking of the best real estate shows. And I was going to say, the team, while they're in London, they could have visited this real estate agency in Buying London, which is a fantastic show on Netflix.
What country aren't they buying? Like, are they buying Sudan? Like, where are these shows?
Paris, London, Tampa Bay is a big one. It's great. Buying Tampa is amazing. So you have no idea.
Buying Sunset or selling Sunset?
Buying Sunset, selling Sunset, the OC. Yeah, I don't know why. But London and Paris, that's not so surprising.
No, that makes sense. I'm just wondering, where does it end, guys?
No, it's not any. And the fact that I am the audience, like they got you hooked. Maggie, once I get you into these shows, you're going to be right with me.
We got it? Okay. I'm not into the real estate stuff. You guys are.
Yet.
But this hit my algorithm, and I'm not going to lie, as they're giving a tour of this mansion in New Jersey, they dropped a line casually that caught my ear.
I got lost for a second. The house is so big dining room, 2 kitchens, like full kitchens. And then look at this. Oh, big surprises. We go into this big primary bedroom. There's a lot of beds because the house is owned by 4 guys who are in a polyamorous relationship. That's fun. And then we go downstairs to the private nightclub. Look at this.
I'm sorry.
Karaoke bar.
Can we pause that for a second? Wait, what did he just say?
Under Zach Brown, too.
I'm sorry. Why is the house so big? Can we play it one more time?
I got lost for a second. The house is so big dining room, 2 kitchens, like full kitchens. And then look at this. Oh, big surprises. We go into this big primary bedroom. There's a lot of beds because the house is owned by 4 guys who are in a polyamorous relationship. That's fun. And then we go downstairs.
That's fun. Let's move on. We go downstairs. There's a fridge. Whoa. It's stocked full of Gatorade.
By the way, Matt, you emailed me this with no context.
There wasn't even a subject.
No subject line in the email, just a link.
Well, you should send it to EJ. EJ, you might want to buy this place. Apparently, a lot of fun.
That's
They
fun.
need a 5th.
Not sure how. I don't think the whole room together could afford that place. But
You ever hear of Three's a Company? Let me introduce you to 5.
Also, how do we think the rent's breaking down on that 37,000 square foot place? You think they're splitting that evenly?
Well, there's probably an alpha amongst the 4 of them.
I'm thinking that too.
He's probably fronting the load. No pun.
And
Cut
Zoo's back.
Pat's Mike on that one.
Coming up, the Patriots.
Good team,
Yep,
Mac.
there you go. And that. Yep.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
If you missed it last night, the Patriots traded one of their best players to the Atlanta Falcons. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. So glad to have you. Matthew Judon was in a contract holdout with the Patriots. Things were not going great there, so they traded him to Atlanta. Okay, on its face, that's, obviously more of a game changer for the Falcons, Perloff. So what's the Patriots angle to this? And here's what I ask. The Patriots do not have a good team right now.
No.
Drake May is definitely a project, and they knew that when they drafted him 3rd overall. He's got all the arm talent in the world, and he could end up developing into a great quarterback. But he was not one of the guys who was anyone felt was ready to go, if you will, right?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Now they just trade away their best player, Matthew Judon, or one of their best players.
Sure.
The Patriots are careening towards the number 1 overall pick. This
possible, yes.
A post-Belichick world where Gerard Mayo comes in and he's in a tough situation. They won what? Did they win 4 games last year? So it's not that crazy to think that they will really, really bottom out. This could be a 1 or 2 win season for the Patriots. If they get the number 1 overall pick, what do they do with it? Because even if you know that Drake May is a bit of a project, if you're watching him behind the scenes and if he's not developing in the way that you want, or there's more problems or whatever, and again, I'm projecting a little bit. Mm-hmm. if you have the number 1 pick and somebody else comes along and really does distinguish themselves, is there even a thought that they would take another quarterback? Now, again, I'm looking a little far to the future here, but I see this Patriots roster. I'm like, you guys are getting the number 1 pick if we played this out on paper.
Let me ask you a question, though. If Drake May had stayed at North Carolina, would he be the number 1 pick next year?
Maybe, but would he be further along? You know, would he?
Well, I mean, I think he would be because he didn't do anything last year, and he was still the number 3 pick. So NFL has been in love with Drake May since high school.
That's
so
true.
I think, honestly, the Patriots probably did this calculus in their mind. They're like, well, we know there's no quarterbacks next year. So we might as well. I think actually you did hear that in some of the behind the scenes talk. People are like, this is the quarterback class. We got to take our quarterback now. So what's the point of waiting? They had to take Drake May this year.
Okay, so maybe this works out for them and they have the number 1 pick and they're holding it hostage, right? They're holding it for ransom because...
I think a defensive end might go number 1 next year. I don't think they're holding... They might take a defensive end. Who are your quarterbacks?
Okay, but see, that's the thing.
You say that, but there's not a Joe Burrow every year.
But we didn't see Joe Burrow coming out of... I'm not going to say nowhere, but kind of... to put together maybe one of the greatest college football seasons of all time.
Right.
And the Bengals, there's no way they were planning that. Like, they just got so super lucky that he happened to be there, and it was the no doubt, no-brainer, and they needed a franchise quarterback, and the rest is history.
Well, name another Joe Burrow then.
But I didn't know Joe Burrow was going to do that.
Right, but that's a one-off. That's rare. I mean, I'm looking at the list of number 1 overall. Caleb, we've known forever. Bryce Young, mistake. And he, by the way, we've known about forever. Trayvon Walker, pick for the Jags, mistake anyway. But Trevor Lawrence, we knew about forever. There was Burrow, Murray, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Jameis Winston. None of those guys were Burrow. Those guys are all like built a resume. So I think you can't sit there for the Patriots and not take Drake May because there might be a Joe Burrow next year.
Well, but again, they're the ones who are going to have the most information about Drake May behind the scenes, right? And we don't know how much he's going to play this year. I imagine Jacoby Brissett's going to start the season. Right now, it looks like Joe Milton is higher up on the depth chart than Drake May. This is... I'm not saying it's going like, it's not a disaster or anything like that, but it's not like going great. I don't think you characterize it that way. And here's the other thing about the Patriots. How patient are they going to be? Because you just got rid of Belichick because he couldn't win. He's 17 wins away from being the all-time winningest coach, and you felt like we had to get him out of the building immediately. We couldn't even wait around for a guy who steered us to 6 championships to have him break this all-time record because we got to get back to our winning ways. And now you might be so bad you could get the number 1 overall pick. Robert Kraft is what, 81? Like I think that the losing was getting to him, which is why the Belichick stuff even started in the first place.
Well, how many years would it take Belichick to get to 15? Is it 15 or 17?
Something like that.
Yeah. How many years would that take?
Again,
3?
You might win 1 game this year, 2 games this year. Belichick would have won more than that.
Why? He didn't win more last year.
He didn't, but I would think that Judon gets worked out. I think that if Belichick is still in the building, I don't think they're taking Drake May, quite frankly, because Belichick was on the McAfee show that draft night, and he was not positive on Drake May. So and it was like the only one he wasn't positive on.
Then who's your quarterback?
Maybe any of the other guys who went after Drake May.
Or maybe Jacoby Brissett.
It could be Brissett.
Yeah, I mean, listen, with or without Belichick, this team, the problem of the Patriots, and you said, well, is a roster, not the coach here. I mean, poor Gerard Mayo, we all know he's taking over a tough spot.
Yeah. But
I think what they're doing is they're basically, it's a teardown, and they're starting over. Drake May, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it has not looked great. The reports coming out of training camp have been kind of negative.
Yeah.
But I think he was drafted where he should be drafted. A lot of teams want to move up to get drafted. A lot of smart teams are like, ooh, Drake May might be available. Maybe the Patriots don't want to go quarterback this year because everyone knew, the Patriots are going to be back in next year. But Shedeur Sanders and Carson Beck are the 2 names.
Right.
It's hard to imagine that either of those guys is going to be an upgrade from Drake May. I can't see it.
855-212-4227. So this is kind of the flip side of the Matthew Judon trade. Judon gets traded to Atlanta, and this is the Patriots. I mean, waving the white flag. It's not just one guy that makes you wave the white flag. It's just you look at the roster and you can see this is not shaping up to be a particularly successful season. And listen, maybe they get the number 1 pick. Maybe Carson Beck or Shedeur Sanders really does look good, and you'll have teams who are clamoring for him because there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that switch teams next year. We were talking about this before the show. There's a lot of guys right now who are in really tenuous quarterback situations in the NFL who could be playing their last season with their own team.
Yep.
And I got almost 10 guys and 10 teams that could be looking for new quarterbacks.
Yeah, I feel like we got a Kenny Pickett draft coming up next year. I think it's go defensive end number 1.
What if Carson Beck wins the title?
I've seen a lot of Carson Beck, and he's really good. I think he needs to take a major step up to be a number 1 overall pick kind of guy. I remember he was my Heisman pick last year. I put a lot of money on Carson Beck. I just then again, I could be wrong. I didn't think Bo Nix, or Michael Penix was going to be a top 10 pick level guy either. So maybe he develops, and Shedor's a little older. Shedor could be that guy too. Shedor Sanders of Colorado, but he's going to be like Penix turning 23. So it just feels like a very speculative class. It's not as obvious as last year where you had Caleb Williams sitting there.
No, I get it.
There's just no Caleb Williams.
I just also wonder about the Shedor aspect of it. And we're talking about who are going to be the good quarterbacks going into the NFL draft next year. The Deion element of, is Deion going to steer Shedor somewhere? Or is Deion just going to be a pain is he going to be a pain? Is he going to be a factor, if you don't want to say a pain? Is he going to be a factor in where Shedor goes and trying to get him perfectly tailor-made to the right spot?
Well, it's funny. If you look at the teams who are the lowest win totals, it's Carolina, Arizona, New England. Arizona definitely could be in the quarterback market. I think Carolina, you could be ready to go, right? So maybe New England gets frozen out in the last couple of weeks by a team intentionally losing as well. I mean, I don't disagree with you on the fact that the Patriots are going to be really bad. I just don't think it's like, Drake May has to worry about this upcoming class.
855-212-4227. We'll get to all of the quarterbacks who could be playing in the last year with their current team. It's a lot more than you think, guys. You back of the envelope this thing, next year could be a complete landscape changer in terms of how many new quarterbacks are starting for new teams, different teams, stuff like that. Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4227. Kevin is in Oregon, wants to weigh in on a conversation we had last hour about Hideki Matsuyama won a bronze medal at the Olympics in Paris, and he, his caddy, and his manager, his coach, were all robbed in London, but thankfully the bronze medal was spared. Kevin, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
Well, I was curious to see what these medals were made of. The gold and silver medal are made of 92.5% silver, and then the gold medal is plated with gold. The bronze medal is made of copper, tin, and zinc, and is worth about $4.60.
Is that right?
That's what I looked
Get
it up.
out of here.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm telling you, man, it's the Oxford Economics estimates the value of the gold medal at $1,027. The silver medal is $535, and the bronze medal is $4.60.
Oh, my goodness. You can't even buy a carton of milk for that much.
No wonder they didn't steal it.
He looked in, he was like, I'd rather have the visa and the passports. At least I can probably repurpose those on the black market. Kevin, that's crazy. Also, I'm a little disappointed that the gold medal is gold-plated.
Well, I am too, but, they're saying here by 2032 in the Brisbane Olympics, the bronze medal will be worth $6.
Wow.
So,
inflation.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Hold on to that thing.
Hey, I'll talk to you.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you. Gold-plated?
That's ridiculous.
What are we doing?
I saw a TikTok, though, about a bronze medalist, and his medal oxidized immediately.
I saw that, too. He was like in the club, and it's turning green. Yeah.
Yeah, those things looked like trash.
It was the skateboarder or something, right, for the U.S.?
Maybe we don't feel as bad about Jordan Childs losing her bronze medal because it was a cheap piece of garbage. So it's like, all right, take it, Romania. It's all yours.
It's the principle. $4? Come on, IOC.
Yeah. We're not going to hire a lawyer to get back a $4 medal for Jordan Childs.
The lawyer probably costs $700 an hour. Minimum.
Yeah, that's disappointing. By the way, are we going to fact check? You guys all believe that $4? That feels
I kind of believe it.
I feel
feels
like
a
Kevin,
little thin.
I feel like Kevin doesn't steer us wrong. But
Kevin seems reputable.
The gold-plated gold medal. I mean, what a farce. You work your whole life for this thing, and it's gold-plated.
I do see when I Google what a bronze medal is made of, couple of the first articles. Now, I'm not fact-checking these articles. It says bronze medals are typically made from an alloy of copper, zinc, and tin.
That's what he said. Damn. And
$4.
Although the medals from this year also included a piece of iron from the Eiffel Tower, which the organizers describe as highly symbolic and a priceless piece of metal.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Has anyone checked on the tower?
Yeah, right? Yeah. Probably doesn't have a nick out of it.
My favorite line so far this morning is, Kevin from Oregon seems reputable. What are you basing that on, Amanda?
I'm with Amanda.
He's just got good vibes, you know?
Yeah,
He's from Oregon. Go Ducks.
I mean, fair. I'm with her. Kevin is actually my emergency contact. I don't know if I should share that with everybody.
All right.
Yeah, I changed it from Stu Kovacs when we left the afternoon show. Stu was my emergency contact. Now it's Kevin in Oregon. That's how much I trust him.
Seems reputable.
He does. 855-212-4227. Coming up, we'll list for you all of the quarterbacks who are likely playing their last season with their current team. Major landscape shift after this year, and a lot of pressure on these QBs. Get to that next. 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. I am pretty excited for this. Maggie says she's done a back-of-the-envelope list of possible quarterbacks in their last year with their team, and there's lots of them. All right, let's break it down.
Okay, I don't think we've realized how much the landscape on quarterbacks could change after this year. These are all the guys who could be in the last year of their current team, okay? And likely that they could be playing somewhere else next year. Not like they're going to wash out of the league. Dak Prescott got to lead the list.
By the way, it is August 15th. Are you so sure that they're not going to do Dak in the end of August?
I'm just saying.
Could.
This could be his last year. Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Derek Carr.
He just got there, but okay.
Daniel Jones.
Ah, jeez.
Matthew Stafford.
We'll see.
Geno Smith. Aaron Rodgers. Ever heard of him?
Rodgers, that one you cannot put on the list. That guy's playing in the New York Jets till he's 57 years old.
Whatever's going on in Pittsburgh, so both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Whatever is going on in Las Vegas, so Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew.
Right.
Kirk Cousins.
Just got there, but yeah.
But he's got Penix right behind him now. You and I have said this. I don't know how true it would be. If Bryce Young has another bad year, are we 100% sure he's still with Carolina? And
well, he's still
same with Will Levis.
Certainly still on the team.
Right. So these guys are in their rookie deal. So let's not even put them there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different teams who could be looking for new quarterbacks next year.
But is that unusual?
It seems it to me.
Well, 6 quarterbacks went in the first round this year.
I know, but we don't know if all of them are actually going to be starting.
Well, I'd say, yeah, this seems about on par for. This seems a little heavy. You're definitely right, but it kind of on par. How many new ones were this year? Obviously, Kirk is new in Atlanta.
Again, not like this. There's a lot of the same guys who are going to be starting next year. And I didn't even add Kyler Murray or someone like that.
Murray is still a problem for Arizona financially.
Yeah,
that was a bad deal.
I think he's still the solution there.
But
I'm not giving up on him.
There is a lot of stability because so many signed this offseason too. Like
the Trevor Lawrences and
Tua,
guys like
Jordan
that and
Love.
Tua. Are you
Yeah.
sure Tua's on the team? Well, he just got a big contract, yeah, so he will be. Anyway, I
Yeah,
thought this was quite a bit. 8 different teams could be looking for quarterbacks next year, and it's not a great quarterback draft. You mentioned that, or at least we don't think. So maybe there's 2 guys going in the first round, maybe 3. So you're going to be doing a lot of different shifting.
Okay,
here.
just do me a favor. Then.
Yes.
The season starts about like September 5th, 6th. I'm curious if that list looks exactly the same.
The only person would really be Dak, probably.
Yeah, but if
it gets a long-term extension.
I think we're going to have a different feel because you bring up a good point. Like, where are these? If, for example, that Dak does do a re-sign deal, that means Stafford's not going anywhere because I think the only team I just think that like at a certain point, yes, Aaron Rodgers could be. All these guys could be here for another 3 or 4 years. It's a little speculative, and I think you guys are totally discounting Matthew Stafford. That guy has a lot of football left. I think.
Just had a hamstring injury yesterday, so you don't want that to linger.
He's an old man. He has a tight hamstring. I have a tight hamstring going to the coffee room here. That is nothing that's going to stop you.
You don't have Nick Bosa breathing down your neck.
I don't know. Matthew Stafford looked like he was a dead man walking about 6 years ago, and he's still slinging it all over the field.
I know. I think that it's probably was a bit rich to think that Stafford would be able to put together another season like last year.
Really? We got to get in the Rams later because I feel like Rams are kind of a hot item right now.
They've had every injury under the sun in camp. EJ, you want to talk about these quarterbacks who could be playing on the final year with their team.
Final year with your team, by the way. You put Kirk Cousins on that list. It's also his first year.
First and final.
First and final offer.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I don't know if you threw Tennessee in there. I know you're talking about rookie deal.
Yeah, she mentioned Levis.
I mentioned Levis and I mentioned Bryce Young, but financially it probably makes more sense just to keep those guys. But I think they're playing for their jobs for sure.
I think those guys are really interesting to look at because Young may be a little harder because you're talking about a number 1 overall pick.
Right.
Probably a lot more money to move on from. But, I mean, Levis is a second-round pick. So I think that's probably there's not a 5th-year option situation there, right? Because he's not a first-round pick.
Yep.
So you can definitely say, hey, you know what? Maybe Will Levis is still on the team, but we're still going to get a quarterback here with this top 5 pick if Tennessee is bad, which a lot of people think they really could be bad. So they will be a team I would definitely look at and say, they could be an option at the number 1 pick if they need to trade up to get a guy, if New England was looking for a deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've given Will Levis a lot of opportunities to succeed here. That dude might be good. We talked about him yesterday. I mean, like, no one knows. EJ, nobody knows what Will Levis is going to do. There's a chance that he's a stud. That's very possible. He's throwing to – look who he's throwing to. It's insane. DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Traylon Burks. Who else they signed? I think they signed – did they sign Tyler Boyd? I mean, and they have, I know they lost Derrick Henry, but they have Tyjae Spears, and they have Tony Pollard.
To me, that's more a team that would actually go for one of these veterans that might be available as opposed to going back into the draft. Like
Cousins, for example. But then again, Levis is a big.
Or Dak?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a chance Levis hits.
And one thing about Tennessee, too, remember, is they got a new offensive coach now who did not draft this guy. So that's another, I think, avenue where you may say Callahan will give his look at Levis this year. If he's not all that impressed, I don't think he'll hesitate at all to go either draft or veteran next year for a new quarterback.
Well, right.
Tennessee's a sneaky, interesting team to look at.
Tennessee, they were number 32 in Pro Football Focus's offensive line rankings last year, but they have just loaded up. They have Skoronski, who they drafted last year. They have J.C. Latham, who they drafted. They signed Lloyd Cushenberry. I don't know. Callahan, his dad, obviously is this great offensive line coach.
Yep.
Feels like everything's in place for Will Levis to be good. I am not.
He's got the mayonnaise cologne. I mean,
he's got the mayonnaise
everything's
cologne.
Breaking right for this guy.
I know. This is all about EJ not trusting his girlfriend.
Yes, it's true. EJ said the girlfriend is bad news. She's a reality star who leaves a wake of destruction everywhere she goes. Amanda's nodding. So she co-signs that.
Yeah, Amanda's in on this plot line.
It doesn't look good.
What is she, Anna Benson? Not to do a throwback there, but what?
The track record is just not good. It's
you guys are worried for this dude.
I'm a girl's girl, but that is concerning.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
she's toxic.
Yeah.
Okay.
She dumped her fiance on national television and brought out the new dude.
I don't even watch that show.
I've never seen anything like that.
I don't even watch that show.
And you're aware of her.
It was bad.
Wow. Oh my God.
I cringed.
So where are Levis's friends around? Where are the bros?
He's got bad friends.
You had
bad friends.
High school, you got 2 stops in college. You should have a solid pack of guys who's telling you got to let this girl go.
Yeah, no, I mean, I always say to my friends, hey, this smoking hot woman that's interested in you, she's bad news.
Walk away.
They're going to listen to me. Okay, yeah.
You guys don't do that for each other?
Beautiful, accomplished woman wants to date you. No. No, of course not. First of all, I would date, if I wasn't happily married, I would date that woman in 2 seconds. You know, men are interested. She's trouble. I'm like, sign me up.
I wasn't interested before. Now I know she's trouble.
Everything
now
you guys
I'm
have said have made
interested.
this woman more intriguing.
There's a lovely song by Hall & Oates that is playing in my head
be careful.
now.
Why is that?
Why Pete's not here to either? I can't remember who he hates, but Hall & Oates is
it's
a 50-50
true.
proposition.
He hates Hall. He likes Oates.
Right.
Yes.
What are you thinking of? Not Rich Girl.
No, Man-Eater.
Man-Eater.
Yeah.
Well, what if he's using her just as much as she might be using him?
Oh.
He's got his Hellman's mayonnaise cologne commercials. He's getting his commercials off now.
Gross. So gross.
Yeah, and the commercial has to predate them, right? Didn't they just say that they were together? The commercial didn't happen in 36 hours. I don't think
the impression though I had was that they've been together and this was them hard launching.
I just think it's funny that I've never seen you guys express any concern at all about any athlete's any significant other. I mean, we didn't talk about Taylor as much as we've talked about this chick.
Taylor's
That's totally untrue.
Well,
Yeah, by the way, we spent 3 months obsessing on Taylor Swift going to Chiefs games.
You denying their love for months.
Listen, I still don't see a ring.
I mean, obviously, like we were talking yesterday about how Olivia Munn didn't like Aaron Rodgers' parents. That's a thing. So maybe the girlfriend can have a significant impact on the quarterback. But honestly, what does it matter who he's dating? All he has to do is throw an air ball up to DeAndre Hopkins and boom, he's got a 35-yard pass.
I don't know, because like women are, will rip you down, according to you guys. Well, good luck for that, Will Levis. Good luck with all that.
Yeah. By the way,
Titans just got a whole lot more interesting.
You know that men are attracted to women who are
Disasters.
Yes. Like everyone, not disasters or challenging or interesting. Like if
you realize women are also attracted to men.
Women
who have a little
everybody likes a challenge and trouble.
Fixer upper.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like listen,
challenge.
Maggie, you're a very nice person, but I'm sure you had your bad boy phase, right?
Was I chasing the bad boy, or I was the bad boy?
No, interested in bad boys.
Yeah, not really.
What?
No.
Amanda.
young enough to still be in the
You
phase.
never, when you were a teenager, you were not interested in the guy who got in trouble.
Okay, one time, but
and it was Will
what
Levis.
was his name?
No, just kidding.
His name was Aiden, and
you can't trust those
Aiden.
Aidens.
Yeah,
Cannot trust
no.
them.
Aiden.
And then
Aiden was vaping in 7th grade.
came to my senses real quick. Sophomore year, I was like, maybe not. Actually, maybe smoking weed is not cool.
I mean, let's just go straight
Don't tell the Weedos that.
Let's go straight to the source. Pat Boyle. Tell us
why
about
were
the
you
women who
smoking
dated
weed?
you and why.
Pat, do you notice women are attracted to you? They're
Yes.
always trying to get you to back on the straight and narrow?
No, I'm attracted to disasters.
You and every
can
other
see
guy,
it.
yeah.
I can see it.
Well,
It's like, oh, she's a tornado. Let's get her number.
let's get caught up in that.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
spin
a
around.
Category 5 hurricane
Let's
mess.
spin around for a couple months. See where we land.
If you watch The Bachelorette, like you
in
would
Canada,
get it too.
naked. It's like, wow, that.
Hey, I had a great. Speaking of Canada, I met a couple disasters there. I had a good time in Canada.
a couple disasters there. Hello, Toronto. Good morning.
If you
We
watch
love
Bachelorette, there's always the nice guy and the troubled guy, and you know that the Bachelorette always wants to take the troubled guy, like the handsome, like can't really commit. I'm like, wow, that's the guy I want. And
He's
you guys
got
know
the he's got the pole position, as
Oh,
Mike Tomlin
God.
would say.
And then, and the Bachelor, there's always like the incredibly prettier than every other woman on the show who the guy wants, but then like at the semifinals, like, nah, I'm not really interested in this. But she's getting DM'd by like some like Division I quarterback who wants to date her.
Hold on, wait
Will
one
Levis.
second. Yeah, Levis back in the DMs. This dude. So I don't watch The Bachelor that much, but can I tell you the other thing that I'm going to call BS on this a little bit? I feel like a lot of the storylines are the very religious people. It's the will they, won't they in the fantasy suite, and like my family might not be into this. And
Well, Maddie Pruitt, that was one big one.
okay,
Yeah.
is that not a constant theme with the show?
Well, what I've seen,
it's definitely not.
Tricky. The last few seasons, it's been tricky with the girls. The Bachelorette going all in with the guys in the fantasy suites has been no problem.
Okay.
It's been the men who, when they have multiple interactions with women in the fantasy suites, both times that have happened, it has gone disastrous. Where the guys had to explain why he was with this girl and then also slept with that girl.
Yeah.
And
that's just
so
reality.
the Bachelor was like, I'm not sleeping with anybody. There's nothing's gonna happen. I'm not, because I don't even want to go down that road.
I've always wondered that. Basically, the last 4 episodes, they go to the fantasy suite, and you have to explain to your future wife why you just slept with Barbara.
Explain to your future wife why we're on this show together. I think we know why we're all here.
Yeah, everyone on there is to get Instagram followers and to eventually marry an athlete.
Right.
That's how it ends up working.
And as you say, future wife, this has been my problem with this show from the beginning. I know it's completely irrational, but the batting average on this show is like 120. I need better success rate for me to buy into this show. Nobody stays together.
Do pretty good.
Well,
It's the
bogus-
Bachelors who just do terrible.
I mean, the national divorce rate's like 50%. So.
And this is like 75. They don't even get this barely gets to a marriage sometimes. Like who is actually the long-term still together couples? Like the original one, like that firefighter guy and the blonde one, like on the second season, they're still together.
Do you realize the amount of frontal lobe damage that has to exist in your brain to even go on this show?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Don't call it The Bachelorette. Don't make it about marriage in the end because it just doesn't happen.
Hey, I tried out for one of them.
Of course you did. Only once?
Oh, we got
I want to.
Pat's back.
Listen, it's the way that I believed you.
I believed it hook, line, and sinker. You want to know why?
Same.
I think you would be the guy who got on the show and was clearly there to mess with everybody. And we know you're getting kicked off by the second episode, but like you're going to have your moment in the sun.
Yeah, and I'd be there for all the different perks that they have at the house. Zip line.
Zip line. I feel like he's only here for the zip line. Is a great sketch.
That's a very inside joke.
Yes.
For someone who hasn't seen that show. By the way, Fred Warner happily married to a former bachelorette.
But not from the show.
Yeah, from the show. She did. Yeah, she was.
No, he didn't. He wasn't.
He didn't
on
meet
the
her
show.
on the show,
right?
But, and he's an awesome linebacker, so that's got to do something for the franchise.
There.
Very
All right.
solid.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fred Warner, that made you stop in your tracks.
It's kind of like Kevin in Oregon. It's just I get a good vibe.
Yeah, Fred Warner is like 100% Q rating. If he married a bachelorette, it kind of opens it up.
Makes it acceptable for everyone else. Bogish has headlines for us. What else is going on today?
The great Ralph Kiner hit his 300th career homer in career game number 1087. Aaron Judge did it in number 955.
3-0. Judge drives it. Deep left field. Way back and gone. Goodbye. On a 3-0 pitch, Judge lasers home run number 300. The fastest ever to hit that mark.
Emmanuel Babari on Yankee Radio, and as he said, I think twice, Judge swang 3-0 because the White Sox had walked Juan Soto to get to him.
I was mad about the intentional walk, so that kind of fueled it. Usually 3-0, I'll take a pitch, see a pitch, pass it on to the next guy. But in that situation, if they want to pitch to you, you gotta come through.
The Yankees a 10-2 victory, so that's back-to-back wins after the worst loss of the season to the White Sox back on Monday night.
So can Judge chase like all-time records? He's a little older, right? I just saw he's 32.
Yeah.
So,
but he's averaging over 50 home runs a season.
So at 300 to get to 750 or something, he need. Help me out, Matt.
Right, he's not halfway to Bonds yet.
Yeah.
And he's already 32.
Yeah, let that sink in.
That's crazy.
Right.
I think they said he'd get to 500 by 36 if he stays on this path.
And then he's got 255 more. That's like 5 or 6 more full seasons. So that's going to 40-41. He needs to have another. He's obviously need a couple of huge ones right now
stay healthy
to speed up the math. That too.
Yeah.
Well, eventually, when Giancarlo Stanton is off this team, then he'll eventually just be the DH. But he's such a good outfielder, you actually do want him out there.
And I don't think he's ready to not play the field anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true.
The same thing with Ohtani. Ohtani is like on that kind of pace, but he's old too.
Right.
Is he 30 already?
I actually don't think he's 30.
I don't
yet.
think
29.
He's 30.
Yeah, he's just like for a guy. So I don't know. I don't know what this means with Aaron Judge. I'm not.
It means he's good right now. Like it means he's good, but like the math, the long-term math is hard to overcome. But I mean, he's gonna hit 500. He's probably gonna hit 600.
Certainly a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
The Red Sox blew a 9th-inning lead, lost in 10 of the Rangers.
There. We're contemplating Aaron Judge.
I was about making a Jalen Brunson Hall of Fame joke, but I decided not to.
I was going to do but we don't know if he'll be in the Hall. I'm not going to make a joke either. Good for you, Aaron Judge. Seems like a good guy.
Yeah, a lot of Nets jerseys hanging up in the rafters there, Bo.
So the Red Sox lost to the Rangers 9-7-10. They're now 2.5 games behind the Royals for the last AL wildcard. The Guardians, meanwhile, took care of the Cubs 6-1. That's a 3-game sweep, a 5-game win streak, and the best record in the game right now at 72-49. This is still the biggest news in the NFL. JJ McCarthy to miss the coming season following right meniscus surgery. There is also the Patriots dealing Matthew Judon of the Falcons for a 3rd-round pick because they could not solve their contract issue, but there's apparently no pending agreement with Atlanta either. And if you don't know the Notre Dame fight song already, you'll know it soon. The Irish giving us a Hard Knocks-like series this fall.
What draws people from all over the globe to Northern Indiana? And in one word, it's excellence. The head football coach at Notre Dame has a lot to live up to. The expectations of the position are absolutely massive.
Our focus for this spring, man, is we're chasing the best version of you.
Everybody expects a national championship.
That's what you're going to be remembered for.
It's demanding, but I think that's what makes Notre Dame so special.
You can feel it. It's going to be different this year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute, dude. I wish you got the end of that clip with Lou Holtz.
Oh, is Lou Holtz in it?
Notre Dame falling out. I forget what he says. He says something with an S, and it takes a solid full breath to get the S out.
I think it's something where Marcus Freeman's like, man, anytime I can talk to you, he's like, well, I don't know why you'd say that. It's like, what? Lou Holtz, what's going on? Get him out of here. I think, Pat, do you need to take 5 and go get a cold shower somewhere after that?
I'm sweaty over here.
Yeah.
I'm already putting in my bet against Notre Dame.
Week 1?
No. Their schedule is so easy. If they go down their ninth string quarterback, it's the easiest schedule ever. They're going to the playoff and they're going to get whooped by an SEC team. It's happening.
They play 3 ranked teams, a top 10 team.
The number 10 team.
Yeah, top 10 team.
Oh, come on, dude. They are brilliant schedulers. This not being in a conference thing is going to keep them in that playoff forever.
This is the easiest schedule they've had in quite some time. But literally for the last decade, they've had a top 10 toughest schedule every year.
Wait, you understand what's going to happen.
They have no chance to lose to these teams. I mean, they have nobody on there.
So A&M to start off. Interesting one.
At A&M, right?
Yeah, at A&M. Northern Illinois, at Purdue, Miami of Ohio, Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State. That's your top 10 team. Virginia, Army, and then obviously USC. You know what's going to happen.
Unbelievable.
What's going to happen?
Guys, I can save us all.
What?
They're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to make them face LSU in the first round because it's going to be Brian Kelly. This committee is going to do this kind of thing, the cute stuff they do at the NCAA tournament, where Rick Pitino coaches against his son and stuff like that. They're going to do this for this tournament.
Well, assuming Notre Dame, that would require probably to be a first-round matchup, where if Notre Dame's 6 or 7 and LSU is 10, that could happen.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I
like it.
Down.
I think that week 1 game, I think the line is a pick'em against A&M.
Is that right?
Last time I checked.
I get it.
What are the? I'm curious. You can look it up. What are the odds of them making the playoff? It's got to be minus money.
I believe they're minus 160
to make the playoffs.
I'll double check, but I think it was something like that.
The other thing about this docuseries that Bogus just played the audio for, it's not about Notre Dame, because obviously I love the movie Rudy, and that was just a Notre Dame propaganda vehicle, and I cry every time when the freaking janitor fist pumps. I can't help it. But this is going to mean every college program in America is now going to do this. You realize if Notre Dame does it, Oregon's going to do it, Georgia's going to do it, Alabama's going to do it. We're trapped. Ohio State's going to do it. We are trapped now in this is the thing now.
Yeah, but now this is going to be on Peacock, which not everybody else has. A lot of these shows already do exist, on social media or on the ACC network. They're out there. You just don't know about them because they're not front and center. But
because they're not Notre Dame.
Well, right, and they're also not on Max or
but they're not Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think
that too. Yes,
Big Ten has a big one. I was just watching Big Ten Network the other day. They have a bunch of reality shows.
Why don't they just do Hard Knocks College?
It's called TikTok and Instagram. Every single program, everything that happens to them behind the scenes is already out there. I don't think it really matters because we're already. That's the thing. I can't believe Hard Knocks is having this renaissance. Every team is showing everything on social media. There's no mystery left, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, last year with the Jets, their YouTube series
is the same
was
thing.
better than Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
I heard that. I didn't see it.
It's called One Jets Drive or something?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, Bogus, thank you. So set your calendars.
August 29th, 2 weeks from today.
When I'm asking you this, I don't know the answer. I don't expect you to be Google. But isn't that date is kind of familiar. Is that the Connor Stallions docuseries also, the sign stealing Netflix scandal? Let's see.
That I don't need to see because is there mystery left on Connor Stallions?
You don't care about it.
I don't really care, but also too, we saw the whole thing.
Well, you don't have an interview with the guy.
August 27th for the Connor Stallions one.
Did they get Connor Stallions?
That's the thing. He's there telling his side of the story.
Oh, okay. I'm in. Did you guys see also the Aaron Hernandez FX movie?
What's that?
The Aaron Hernandez movie. Has anyone seen that promo?
It's a it's not a documentary though.
Yeah. It's it's one of those FX shows.
Drama.
It looks so bad. It is unbelievable. We need an Aaron Hernandez movie like that.
I do want to see Connor, not to switch back. I do want to see Connor Stallion just totally clown everybody and be like, yeah, dude, they just let me right on the Central Michigan sideline.
that. I waltzed on.
Yeah. Just make a mockery of Central Michigan.
Oh, man.
And the entire process.
I hope not. I've been to Mount Pleasant. It's very nice. 855-212-4227. Thank you, Bogish, so much. Coming up, check in on the Cowboys. What's the latest? They're making some moves here. We'll tell you what's shaking out in Cowboys land next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Actually, I didn't even know. I thought they already had that show.
Got something to say, infinity's mine. He's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame, just JJ Redick's wine.
Manny and EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans. Living in the Big Apple, they're part of the grand plan. But they just witnessed the crushing defeat. 76ers taking the victory, man. That's hard to beat. Sitting in the studio talking about the game. Maggie and Perloff, it ain't all the same. Perloff's a Philly fan. It's hard to stand when your team's on top and your heart's in your hand. Man, Manny and EJ, they're lost and confused. Knicks played hard, but it wasn't what they used to. Every missed shot, every turn, oh, they saw leaving them shot. They can't believe what they're in for. Manny and EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans.
Peter Barati, he made a prediction. Said that he gonna win. Celtics got no conviction, but now he's hiding, running away. Won't own up to his words, can't face the dismay. He thought Miami would rise like the sun in the sky, but now he's got excuses, got no alibi. He thought the Heat had it, it was a sure bet, but they couldn't handle Boston, not just yet. Peter Bellotti, where you at now? You made a bold choice, but where's your wow? Can't stand the heat in the kitchen. Your predictions cold. You're playing hide and seek, leaving us in the fold. You're playing hide and seek, leaving us in the fold. Peter Barati, he made a prediction. Said that he gonna win. Celtics got no conviction, but now he's hiding, running away.
2 minutes remaining.
His words can't fake.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You know that music. Time to check in on the Cowboys. It's our Cowboy Quickie. Okay, a couple things. So yesterday, they made a trade for kind of like a backup D tackle in Jordan Phillips. That was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't this morning, was it? And now they just made another move, signing veteran defensive end Carl Lawson. So Jordan Phillips yesterday, Lawson. This came across like this morning. EJ just texted it to us. So obviously they're feeling some kind of deficiencies along the defensive line, obviously. But, there's not probably a big trade or anything out there to be made right now. So they're just getting depth pieces.
I mean, 2 words, Maggie. All in.
Yeah, Carl Lawson.
Carl Lawson and Jordan Phillips.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Jalen Phillips.
Or I think there's a Harrison Phillips.
Yeah. Jordan Phillips is a combination of several other linemen's names. But
yeah. So that's the latest. That is your Cowboy Quickie.
I mean, come on. When we talk about the Cowboys, it sounds so silly to talk about anything except the big 3 contracts. Like, until they do that, I don't care what they do. What are they doing, Maggie?
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
This portion of the show is sponsored by the all-new Hyundai 2024 Santa Fe, equipped for adventure with capable features like available H-Track all-wheel drive and standard third-row seating. And nailed it, Amanda. Thank you. Now, you mentioned the 3 contracts that are still out there, the Dak Prescott, the CeeDee Lamb, and the Micah Parsons, and none of them have been done yet. We also got the news that the latest valuation of the Dallas Cowboys is over $10 billion. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have to operate in the salary cap. They still have to do that. You still have to be a good team building. You still have to build a team the right way, even though your valuation is at $10 billion.
Right. It has really nothing to do with team building.
But it does feel like to get that news when a team may be nickel and diming with a guy. I know they're not connected, but you realize the optics. It's like this team has the highest valuation of any team in North America, and they can't get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb because of a couple $1 million here or there. Again, I know it's not the same.
I think all football fans know the jigsaw puzzle that is a salary cap. I don't think no real football fans saying $10 billion. Why aren't they paying CeeDee Lamb? Because everyone knows, anybody who follows the sport knows that whoever manages a salary cap wins Super Bowls.
I know.
And by the way, they're pretty. That guy Will McClay, we are giving him a hard time. I mean, he's been pretty good. I mean, you don't get to 12-5 3 years in a row and lose in the playoffs without I don't know. I feel like their cap team is not as bad as we pretend it is.
No, they've been a successful team. I mean, how are you defining success? They've been a very good regular season team over the last 3 years. They've actually been the best. I think only the Kansas City Chiefs have more wins than them over the last 3 years.
Right, and the way they've done that has been surprisingly conservative. But when time comes to become aggressive or something is off right now. I don't know what it is. I can't quite understand why none of these deals have been made. Unless they really want to move on from Dak.
I'm with you. I think that's on the table for sure. I think this also is probably, in my opinion, Jerry Jones getting this news is probably the best day that he's ever had. And you and I will always disagree about this. I do not think that winning is the number one thing for Jerry Jones. And I think that having the most valuable franchise, running the NFL, which he says he does, and having and being able to swing the biggest influence, he already got into the Hall of Fame. I don't know what more a Super Bowl does for him, quite frankly. Bragging rights over who? the hunts, like, who cares? I just don't think that.
You don't think Jerry Jones cares about bragging rights over the hunts?
I think he already has the bragging rights, doesn't he?
No. The hunts walk into that room because there are certain owners-only meetings.
Yeah.
They're obviously kings of that room. You don't think that the hunts are like, we're better than you. That is the whole thing. That's 32 men in that room in a specific hierarchy of who just won the Super Bowl. The hunts are probably walking around with the cockiest human beings you've ever seen.
I think Jerry is the cockiest human being I've ever seen. And I think he still walks into the room as I'm the man and I'm the guy. And you might have the belt now, but who gets more attention? Who gets the highest TV ratings? Who does all these things that you tell me, still makes the Cowboys the most relevant franchise? And I think just being relevant is enough. And that's why the story about the lack of fans in training camp the first couple days felt so notable. It's like, wow, is this the first time that Cowboy fans are maybe going to turn their back a little bit on the Cowboys? And when push comes to shove, I don't think that's going to be the case. So
this $10 billion valuation, I'll take it one step further. It means nothing. Jerry Jones is never selling the team, so that's $10 billion of imaginary money. So who cares?
I think that it's about influence. And I think when you have the most valuable franchise, I think it does give you more influence, whether it's with the commissioner or whether it's the other owners or whatever.
It's just a fictional number, though. It's not even a real thing. Like, first of all, I love when they put out those Forbes lists of most valuable franchises, and they list, like, the Carolina Panthers at $1.2 billion, and they go for 6.4 or something. Like, honestly, until they actually go to the market, we don't know what it's worth. But it doesn't matter because the Joneses in a million years will never sell that franchise. Not
while Jerry's alive.
Not while Steven's alive. You think Steven's going to sell that? You don't think he likes being famous too?
No, I think they like it, and that's fine. But I'm just talking about what that buys you, not the actual just like selling it to some other oil magnate. I'm saying I think the valuation buys them way more influence in the NFL than you think.
No, I don't think it means anything. Honestly, like they have a big salary cap problem is they have an expensive quarterback, an expensive receiver, and an expensive pass rusher. And they have $10 billion valuation, but they can't figure out how to get over the hump. And that $10 billion valuation is not going to help them win a Super Bowl. So who cares, right?
Can we do a poll question? Is Jerry Jones, is winning a Super Bowl, what do you think is more important to Jerry Jones, winning a Super Bowl or having the highest valuation in sports? Because I would challenge Jerry this. Say you could win a Super Bowl, but you can never do another interview ever again. I don't think he'd do it.
How about this? You can win a Super Bowl, but then you have to sell the team.
Or that. I don't think he would do that.
Yeah, no, he's not going to sell the team.
855-212-4227. Okay, lots more to do. We've got NFL news for you and a little what if.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Awesome. Thank you. I do. It does not look like I have a read today. So here we go. This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports Minute. This is Maggie Gray with a Sports Minute. Golfer Hideki
playing hide and seek, leaving us in the fold. Roasting Tom Brady, we took it too far. But Maggie don't care, she's a superstar. Said the kids need to learn to laugh at the pain, so we'll keep on joking, no need to explain. We may have crossed the line, but who's to say? Maggie's teaching her children to handle it her way, making light of the struggles, finding joy through the tears. With a sense of humor, they'll conquer their fears. Ha ha ha, let's laugh it off. Put a smile on your face. shows. No need to keep the pace. We'll turn the pain into laughter. Let it all go. Together we can grow. Roasting Tom Brady, we took it too far. But Maggie don't care, she's a superstar. Said the kids need to learn to laugh at the pain, so we'll keep on joking. No need to explain. We may have sitting in my room, scrolling through the tube, watching Maggie and Perloff, getting in the groove. Found a viewer in the chat, his name's Dalton, I'm Brian. Spitting fire comments, he's the #1 fan. Got his finger behind needles, wakes up at dawn. Coffee brewing, screen turned on. He's got a favorite show to see, the Maggie and Perloff Symphony. Oh, pine needles are turning tight to infinity, sports radio every night. Maggie and Perloff, your daily delight. In their words you find your life. From highlights to the breaking news, every take you can't refuse. In the chat he's always there with comments, questions, wisdom to share. Oh, pine needles, you're tuned in tight to infinity, sports radio every night. Maggie and Perloff, your daily delight. In their words you find your life. When the games get tough and mistakes.
1 minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Tough news, but not all is lost. And welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. All right, a little bit more serious than we thought yesterday. We're talking about JJ McCarthy. The torn meniscus looks like it's going to keep him out for the entire season. And I was as shocked as anybody, Pearl, when I saw Adam Schefter tweet yesterday. This is the first time a rookie has missed their entire first season because of injury in the history of the NFL.
It's so weird. It was actually, he retweeted CBS college or NFL's research team found that can't be right. I feel like we've seen quarterbacks get injured. I think of the great failed rookie seasons. Jamarcus Russell comes to mind. Lots of Bryce Young, actually. But like JJ McCarthy tearing his meniscus doesn't feel like a historic event in any way, because the truth is, I think they were going to play in midseason, but the reality is this does not change their outlook much this season. It's not going to change their win total at all. They were definitely going to start Sam Darnold anyway. I just thought after the bye they were going to probably go to JJ McCarthy. I'm kind of bummed that we don't get to see him. I understand Patrick Mahomes sat for a year and it was great, but did you want to see McCarthy's played plenty of football? He could have gone in there and learned on the job. Now we don't know what he's going to be next year. Are you excited about seeing him next year? It's just kind of like, it's such an unknown again for the Vikings.
Unfortunately, I think we're probably just going to kind of put him on the back burner and sort of forget about him. And I guess, could they have really tried to say, all right, we're going to work as hard as humanly possible. We're going to make sure we get him back for the end of this season. I sort of get what they're talking about here. I get what they're doing here, rather. Just take all the pressure off of this first year. However, I don't think this means the bottom is necessarily dropping out for the Vikings. And believe me, I'm no Sam Darnold lover or apologist. I just think this team had multiple quarterbacks last year and still found a way to win 7 games. I know the division is getting better, but until they actually play, we don't know what's going to happen with the Packers. Are we sure they're taking another step forward? Are we sure the Lions aren't taking a bit of a step back? Are we sure that Caleb Williams is just going to seamlessly come in here and look like a top 15 quarterback?
Yes.
I would say all is not lost here for the Vikings this particular season.
Well, first of all, you just described 3 other teams. Tell me about the Vikings. What's the formula here?
Okay, so you have an offense that I'm not going to say like the village idiot could run, but I think that this is an offense that makes it very easy on quarterbacks. And while Sam Darnold can always find a terrible throw to make, maybe with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, and let's not forget Aaron Jones in the run game. If he's healthy, they have a good offensive line. They have all the reasons we thought JJ McCarthy could come in and have a successful rookie season. So take out McCarthy and you put in Darnold. It's not that much of a downgrade to me because we have no idea what McCarthy actually would have been like in a regular season game. So why not? You have Brian Flores as a great defensive coordinator. He's always keeping guys and opponents on their toes. They spent some money on the defense this year. They're going to be in the mix for a wild card spot.
They aren't. They have the incredibly hard schedule. And they're in a very, very hard division. I just do not see it.
But you think they're going to be, a 2-win team or a 3-win team?
No, I think they're right at their Vegas line. They're going to be a 7-win team.
That might get you a playoff. That might get you a wild card spot, in the NFC.
7.
Maybe.
7. No.
Not 7. Maybe they'd have to go 9. But
7,
okay.
That'll get you the 12th pick.
Listen, let's let the season play out.
First of all, the NFC is going to be really good this year. That whole AFC-NFC imbalance has shifted. Now the NFC is loaded again. So I don't see that at all.
Well, again, you're saying the NFC is loaded because of the NFC North. And I'm telling you, we do this all the time where we say this division is going to be the best one, and it ends up things happen, and that's not always the case. You're leaving no wiggle room here.
No, okay, then why not just say the Panthers are going to be in the Super Bowl?
Well, because they haven't meaningfully upgraded their roster, whereas
the Vikings have not either.
Grenard is good.
That's what you got. Jonathan Grenard is your meaningful upgrade.
I think that Aaron Jones is good, and I think that if Darnold is healthy and at least you have some consistency at quarterback, that's very different from last year. Last year, Cousins got hurt and they cycled through guys.
They were 4-4 with Cousins last year.
And he was having an MVP season.
So they were about a 500 team with Cousins. Yeah, maybe they were trending up a little bit. But, yeah, I don't see the reason for optimism. I see the reason to expect right around 500 at best. Which is where that's the problem, though. They've been here for so long. Even when they were 13-4, they felt like they were 500. So I just feel a little bad for Minnesota. I feel like they're going to be okay. And is that enough?
Well, here's the thing. I'll give you this. The intrigue has been spoiled a bit because I don't really I'm not running to watch Sam Darnold. I would have been running to watch McCarthy because that would have been cool and different, and we'll see what he is. And so, no, and watching a great receiver on a mediocre team, it can also be very frustrating. Just like if you are a Raider fan, you're watching Devontae Adams on a mediocre team. It's not all that fun. So I get the sexiness of the Vikings has definitely taken a dip.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
they could still win games.
It wasn't super high coming in, right? They definitely bottom 10 sexiness.
Well, McCarthy was on a high note because he just won the national championship.
I can't imagine they have any prime. How many primetime games do they have? They must be I would imagine it's definitely in the bottom half, bottom 10, because they're just pinned in this really exciting division. So every time you started talking about Detroit, I was like, ooh, Detroit, yes. Green Bay, yes. Caleb Williams, yes. Minnesota, okay.
855-212-4227. But, of course, the headline is McCarthy is going to be done for the year. All right, Thursdays at this time, we do a little something called the Multiverse.
Exploring sports' biggest what-ifs and could-have-beens. Let's dive into the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam and just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com, not available in all states. right, this one is kind of this one kind of impacts JJ McCarthy. This multiverse would have impacted McCarthy. So today in the Multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, one of sports what ifs and what could have beens, we reimagine what would have happened if Jalen Milroe had scored in last year's Rose Bowl against Michigan. If you're forgetting, this is how it actually went down.
Game on the line. That's Williams in motion. Low snap. Milroe stopped. Michigan makes a stand and comes up with a milestone playoff victory.
It was a great call there by Chris Fowler, by the way. So we all know what happened. Alabama gets stopped in overtime. Michigan goes on to the national title game. They beat Washington. They're the champs. Today we're reimagining. How would life have been different if Alabama scores there, presumably goes for the 2-point. Okay, say they win the game. That's what the point we're getting to. Oh, that's not...
No. I was just saying, like, do you go for 2 there? That is a whole can of worms. I don't think you're going for 2. Detail. That would take, Nick Saban, okay. But anyway, they win the game. I think they have to win the game.
Yes.
They probably would have gone to a second overtime, I would imagine. But regardless, they win the game. Otherwise, what's the point? Okay.
Let's just reimagine this multiverse of Maggie and Perloff that last year, instead of Alabama losing that game to Michigan, they win the game and go on to the national championship. Perloff, how is the world different if that play is different?
It's not different at all, except that Alabama wins the title. I was looking at some of the odds. They were heavily favored over Washington in hypothetical odds coming into that Final Four. Washington was a distant plus 650 to win the whole title coming into the Final Four. Now, what happened in that particular game was Michigan's defensive line just blew Washington's offensive line out of the water. I'm assuming Alabama could have done a similar thing. They win that game. But then Nick Saban's not coming back if they win a title. He's even more likely to walk off into the sunset. I think he was just tired of coaching because NIL is just too many hours. He wants to go home and watch Netflix with Terry. So Nick Saban retires.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh, I think, was gone anyway because of the show cause stuff. So I don't think Harbaugh comes back. I think JJ McCarthy goes to the pros because Harbaugh is gone. Now, one interesting thing, would Jalen Milroe have just jumped into this draft? That is a possibility, but I don't think so because there were so many other good quarterbacks. So basically, we have Nick Saban walks off into the sunset, and it seals the deal as he's the greatest coach in any sport of our era. Better than Coach K, better than Bill Belichick, better than Greg Popovich. Nick Saban is the man, and he is smiling even bigger on TV. But I do think he still retires. I think Harbaugh leaves, and other than that, I can't see any real ramifications because they don't beat Washington. So in this multiverse, it's just an Alabama title instead of a Michigan title, and we go about our stuff.
Okay,
Tell me where I'm wrong.
The multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, well, we reimagine what ifs and what could have beens in sports. And today we're doing what if Alabama had beaten Michigan in last year's college football semifinal. Now, one thing you did not answer, if Nick Saban retires, who takes over for Alabama? Would you have actually hired Kalen DeBoer, who in this theory would have just lost to you in the national championship game? Can he leave Washington to go to Alabama in this hypothetical? Because who is coaching? If you think Saban would have still left, which I'll agree with you on that one. I always thought maybe Saban would come back, but you're right. If he wins the title, he's probably...
It's a little easier to leave, right? Isn't that the way?
I think it was easy for him in the first place.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was ready to go. But anyway,
well, why wouldn't it be Kalen DeBoer? Because you're saying that they saw him up close and weren't impressed by him in this because they beat him, presumably.
Yes, I don't.
But
think that even
they watched the Michigan game and he wasn't impressive in that, and they hired him. He was probably their fourth choice, but.
I know, but does he leave? Does he leave to join the team that just beat him?
Heck yeah, why not?
I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the answer. I'll disagree with on this when we do the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. What would happen if Alabama had beaten Michigan last year in the college football semifinal? I don't know if Jim Harbaugh leaves. Because what was really all that different between Jim Harbaugh the year before? They got to the college football semifinal, they got into a shootout with TCU, and they lost. And Harbaugh didn't leave then, and it didn't look like the NFL teams were really banging down the door then. So if he doesn't actually win the title, are we still in the same spot with Harbaugh? And Harbaugh is one of the most defiant people against these NCAA investigations, sanctions, all that stuff. I think he would have done bleep you to the NCAA. I'm coming back no matter what. And also I don't know if the NFL is handing him, like, is he as appealing to the Chargers? Because he wasn't before, and he was getting to the college football semifinal, and he was getting turned down for jobs. So
I just think Harbaugh had built up a lot of success. If he had lost that game, I think he was still hot because he'd beaten Ohio State now 3 times in a row.
That's true.
I felt like Harbaugh was percolating in the NFL circles. Remember, we talked earlier in the show, he was in the building in Minnesota doing an interview 3 years ago now?
Yeah, on signing day.
And for some reason, Harbaugh just was not as high a Q rating. I don't think it was just the title. I felt like even before he won the title, we were talking about Harbaugh as a no-brainer to the pros. I do think that this scandal would have affected him.
Well, he would have been suspended now for a year if we knew then what we know now.
Right. And that is like, listen, we'd like to think that these college coaches are above that, but I mean, Pete Carroll left USC. Yeah. I just think Harbaugh, because of that pending penalty, would have left.
But we don't know if he would have had a port in the storm. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was unable to find a team. And again, maybe then he doesn't get his pick. Maybe it's not the Chargers with Justin Herbert that seems so appealing. Maybe you are taking that Tennessee job. Or I don't know what a lesser job would be.
I feel like there were a lot of openings this year, that there were a lot of teams that had Harbaugh footprints. I think he probably had multiple choices.
Well, where did he interview? Atlanta and LA, right?
Yeah, but what were the other openings? I mean, first of all, too, if he's out there and like there wasn't a place like the Chargers, would a team like the Bears like double back on him? I just think even teams that kept their coach might have considered him.
855-212-4227. So this is what we do sometimes on Thursdays. We do the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. We reimagine things in sports. Today, it's what would have happened if Alabama had beaten Michigan in the college football semifinal last year. How would the world be different? I also disagree with you. I think Jalen Milroe does go pro. And instead of 6 first-round quarterbacks, we have 7. Because even with the 6 QBs that went in the first round of this draft, there were still more teams that needed quarterbacks. The Raiders needed a quarterback and more. So I think it's just, all right, we had 6, now we have 7, and I think Milroe is gone.
Yeesh. I love me some Jalen Milroe.
No, I know.
I'm not sure that was a first-round pick in this year's draft.
I tend to agree with you. So maybe he's a high second-rounder. I don't know. I just think you use that as a launch point.
I mean,
I think if Quinn Ewers had won the national title, I think he would have been gone. Same with Texas.
I don't know. Yeah, Ewers might have been gone, but would he be a first rounder? That I'm not sure. I just think that those guys are not quite what these 6 first rounders were.
Maybe not, but your stock's never going to be higher.
I know. Yeah,
you're not back to back in this thing.
No, you're definitely right about Ewers, that he would have been gone. But that being said, Milroe just didn't look polished enough yet. I think he needs another year. He's pretty young too.
Yeah, definitely not polished.
But
definitely not. But there's Drake May.
Can you imagine, by the way, this multiverse, if Milroe had gotten in on that failed sneak or quarterback run or whatever you want to call it, and they're sitting there and it's 27-26, and somebody on that coaching staff in the Final Four game has to say go for 2 or go for 4.
Gotta go for 2.
Why?
Don't you?
You're Alabama. You're
the game.
Presumably the better team.
Michigan was great last year.
Or you're just there. I mean, like, I don't know. If you're Alabama, do you really that scared of Michigan in a neutral field that I think you keep playing the game. You have Milroe. If Milroe can run that in, like you could keep running in overtime, I'm not so sure.
This is the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, the sports what if and what could have been. What if Alabama had beaten Michigan in last year's college football semifinal that was at the Rose Bowl? EJ, what did we miss?
Well, I think the one decision about going for 2 that's important to remember is similar to that play where they didn't get in. Remember, they could not snap the ball. The center was having these issues where he kept low snapping it. So I think that would have played into the decision of whether or not Alabama goes for 2. I also think the JJ McCarthy aspect of this is maybe being lost. I think he probably stays at Michigan.
I mean, his 4th season there.
Yeah, I mean,
games
but
under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of games on his belt there. But if JJ McCarthy doesn't have the shine of being this quarterback that essentially is like not lost in his entire career and then won a national championship, is he a guaranteed first-round pick? I don't think so. I think a lot of the excuses people made for making him a first-round pick was, well, he just took Michigan national championship and they won. Like, he's a winner. Like, that's his whole thing.
It wasn't just a first-rounder, though. He was a top 10 pick.
Well, I'd say
but I think if he's not a national championship quarterback, you're looking at his stats and you're looking at 23 straight rushes against Penn State, and you're saying, is this guy really a first-round pick?
Man,
I think actually
that's what's so wrong with scouting. Then so wrong.
I mean, I know, but I think that's what happened though.
I think his high school career had a huge factor in this too. The fact that he was,
I agree.
Like, if he wasn't the natural coming to Michigan, I mean, honestly, the only reason Jim Harbaugh kept his job is because he was able to recruit JJ McCarthy. Like, I think people thought that McCarthy was talented. He just got stuck in a very conservative offense. So I'm not sure I agree with that. But by the way, EJ, you didn't explain the fact that they could not snap the ball. Does that mean they go for 2 or don't go for 2? Sorry,
No, they don't.
They
don't because it's on one play.
Yeah.
And you have what happened in the real life where you don't snap the ball correctly.
Yeah.
You say, well, why did we just play for another overtime? Maybe Michigan throws an interception or Michigan fumbles. Like, there's ways in which Alabama could have won the game technically without it being an offensive play. Like, the center was having such a bad game that I don't know if I want to put the game in his hands for one play.
EJ, where do you weigh in on what Maggie and I argued about? Do you think Kalen DeBoer is still the Alabama coach? I mean, they said they obviously wanted Dan Lanning. I think they wanted Norvell.
Dabo.
I don't know if they, Dabo, maybe Kiffin, who knows? But like, I feel like just that alone, like Kalen DeBoer, I think still could have been the Alabama coach even if they lost to them in the title game.
Right. So we're reimagining what if Alabama had beaten Michigan and then beaten Washington last year, and Saban, we still believe, would have ridden off into the sunset now just as a winner as opposed to a runner-up or first-round loser, whatever. Who now has the Alabama job? Like, does Kalen DeBoer actually take the job after just losing to Bama in the title game? It's a little Kevin Durant joining the Warriors off of OKC vibes for all you diehard sports fans out there.
Yeah, that's why I don't think he goes. I think that he does not take that job.
Yeah, I don't either.
He's already kind of like a villain in Seattle, and that's with not having faced Alabama and lost to them. Like,
he should be a hero there, by the way.
I agree.
Yeah.
But, like, if he leaves to go to the team that just beat them in this heartbreaking fashion in a national championship game, I mean, he would never be able to show his face on the West Coast. Like, I don't think that he leaves. I think they end up going to their 6th option. Who knows who that
Mike Elko? I don't even know.
Maybe
who
it was someone
is it?
like that. I mean, I don't even know who that is.
Elko
I was trying to go through my head.
Yeah. But no. What does Kalen DeBoer care about? You're telling me Michael Penix leaves Washington and he's staying in Washington and he's saying no to Alabama? No way. Maybe they don't reach out to him, but Kalen DeBoer, I think that was a no-brainer. Why would he stay in Washington to be a middling Big Ten team? He's probably going to get killed next year.
Well, I mean, I think he probably believes that you use this platform and you're going to the Big Ten and you continue building the program.
So why wouldn't you believe that now? He just left for Alabama, and it seemed like a no-brainer.
It's the bad taste in your mouth of joining the team that just beat you. Especially,
really?
We don't even know how it would have looked. Penix didn't play particularly well in that championship game. What if they get beaten by 3 touchdowns or something? Alabama wasn't really blowing people out last year. I get that.
Yeah, I mean,
but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like Kalen DeBoer. Like, I felt like of all the candidates, that was the easy one. Like, yeah, of course he's going to Alabama. He's not saying no to them. He's saying no to Alabama in your guys' world? I doubt it.
855-212-4227. All right, that's the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff today. What would the world be like if Alabama had beaten Michigan in last year's college football semifinal? If you forgot that game, it was overtime. Michigan gets the ball first in overtime because Bama deferred. They go down and score a touchdown easily, and then Jalen Milroe got stopped on 4th down right at the goal line. If that game's different, how is the world different? We just went through the scenarios for you. 855-212-4227. Okay, we may be witnessing a comeback. I'll tell you what's going on. We got some news for you next. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Okay, Maggie, you had an interesting tease just there.
Aren't they all?
Unfortunately, I can't remember exactly how you phrased it. Is it the one player?
There could be a comeback, and we could be witnessing a comeback.
No, we're not.
It's possible.
No, it's not.
You don't think this will ever happen?
Nope.
All right, let me lay it out for the audience in case you didn't see this story. Came to us from USA Today. Jim Harbaugh revealed to the outlet that he had reached out to Colin Kaepernick to offer him a job, not to be a quarterback for the Chargers, but to be a coach. 36-year-old Colin Kaepernick joining Harbaugh's coaching staff. Perloff thinks it's a pipe dream. Now, Harbaugh said he did reach out to Kaepernick this was like January when he got the job. Mm-hmm. And Kaepernick has not really told him yes or no. And Kaepernick still wants to play. But obviously, with every year that goes by, the less and less likely that Kaepernick's ever going to get another sniff here. In fact, he's not. I think we can all acknowledge that he's not going to play. If I were him and I really wanted to get back into the league, I think coaching would be a great avenue for him. And obviously Harbaugh has nothing but love for Kaepernick for the success that they both had together in San Francisco.
Yeah, and not happening.
Why not?
I think that he wants to either play or be an activist. I don't think he wants to grind and watch tape and be a coach. I think he's honestly like a little bit too big for this.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he wants that job. I just think that he's got more important things to do. And I don't even mean that as a slight.
No,
like he's just
listen.
a way bigger figure. What is he going to sit there and break down tape of the Raiders?
No, but I mean, I'm watching other guys maybe who aren't on the activist level, but I see other very former famous athletes who take coaching positions and take assistant coaching positions. That's not so crazy. I mean, his fame is very unique, right? Because now he's way more famous for the kneeling and the activism than he is for what he did as a quarterback, which is unique to say for somebody who is that close to winning a Super Bowl, then followed it up with another NFC Championship game. I think that probably I would imagine like the young guys on the roster today, they probably, first of all, a lot of them quarterbacks would have a skill set that was kind of like Colin Kaepernick because he was definitely running and dual threat, and they probably look up to him. Maybe, but regardless, I think this is more on him, and I think that there was a legit offer from Harbaugh. I just don't think it just doesn't feel like he wants to go in this situation. I think he wants to be very smart about what he does next, and I just don't think this is it. Right. And honestly, if I was advising Colin Kaepernick, I'm like, do you really want the headache of being an assistant coach here? Are you going to be some sort of like player development? Or is it symbolic? Like, what's happening here? Are you going to be? Do you want to be a head coach someday? He doesn't feel like that's what interests him. I've watched a lot of interviews with him. He's got totally different things on his mind. Oh, no doubt. I mean, listen, we're talking about Jim Harbaugh said he offered Colin Kaepernick a assistant coaching job, but doesn't look like Kaepernick's going to take it. But okay, so he sues the league because he says he got blackballed, but then they settled for an undisclosed amount of money. Yeah. But then he has been trying to make a comeback. So clearly the hard feelings that he holds against the NFL, he's still trying to get back in. So,
Is he?
Well, I mean, I think he held some workouts. I do think he wanted a quarterback job, but I'm just saying clearly
But now, I mean, the
he's
recent
thought through
interview,
working with the NFL again.
Yeah, I mean, he did the Sky Sports interview. I think it looked like it was in Europe. And he said, yeah, I'd like to play again, but now it's getting it's getting vaguer and vaguer. Like their workouts were a little. Yeah, I mean, the 36 is not that old in itself. It's just that he's been away from the game for so long. It just feels more theoretical than ever. To me, anyway. I mean, he could surprise me and hold another set of workouts. But even when he was doing those workouts, and he looked fine to me, the teams weren't really signing him. And now it's getting harder and harder.
You know what's funny, though? I trust Jim Harbaugh's judgment here because I think Jim and John Harbaugh have quietly put together like a bit of a coaching tree. I mean, if Mike McDonald really hits in Seattle, that's like their guy, isn't it? I mean, they kind of pass coaches sort of back and forth. If Sharon Moore ends up taking Michigan and they continue on this success, the Harbaughs are going to get credit here for having a good eye when it comes to assistant coaches and hires.
Now you think Sharon Moore is going to be good.
Well, I have no idea. No idea. But I think people trust Harbaugh when it comes to picking coaches and assistant coaches and talent. And if he gave Colin Kaepernick his blessing, I think it would mean a lot.
It all sounds great in theory, but I think just the reality is that Colin Kaepernick is not going to do this. It just feels too odd. Mm-hmm. Colin Kaepernick takes assistant coaching job with the Chargers. I just can't see that headline. I just, in my mind's eye, it's like he's just too big for that.
855-212-4227. The big question would be, and what does he do for the anthem? Would he kneel again? I don't know. Probably.
But I think that's a nice hypothetical. I don't think it's a realistic question.
Andrew Bogish has headlines for us this morning. What's up, Bogues?
Guys, good morning. Good to see everybody again. It is very obvious that I am not cool. I've never been cool. And as I get older and athletes stay the same, the gap between me and cool grows. So I feel this from George Kittle yesterday.
Before we begin, so you guys are out there at every practice. You guys watch us all the time, but there's a special teams period where I catch some footballs and I like to observe you guys. And you guys really need to up your sneaker game. It's absolutely atrocious.
That's Kittle addressing the Niner media group yesterday. He even named names.
I got some Vomeros. Those are fire. And Grant wears Vans every single day. New Balances, they look like Vans. Yeah, those are Vans. It's okay. But you wear those every day, so I need you to switch those up. But I observe all your guys' shoes, and I am disappointed in you guys as a community. So if we could up those, please.
Oh, dear
Tier 8,
God.
guys. Let's figure this out together. Okay, now it's all you guys.
I have multiple pairs of Vans and New Balances.
Me too.
Is that good or bad?
Well, I think was he praising the Vans, or was he saying like Vans are okay, but you can't wear them every day? That's what I heard there.
Don't we remember? Damn, Daniel with the Vans on. That's old. I'm old too. Amanda wants to weigh in.
With
She's
the
our
white
young fashion
Vans.
person here.
Listen, I'll tell you this. I enjoy Vans. Listen, he's just being a little bit of a hater. I saw this video. Dude, they're sneakers.
I mean,
I like the nice Converse. Like, they came out with a bunch of, like, very cool brand Converse. So
Also, we learned from the Netflix show Receiver with George Kittle. He's got a closet full of Jordans, and he doesn't have to pay for any of them.
Well, I'd like to
it
mention.
must be nice.
There is a really funny line in a Sports Illustrated article about this, and he goes, maybe he can donate a couple pairs.
Size 13s to the press corps.
do you remember when I bought I can't even remember what they were now. I bought a fancy pair of Dunks in Vegas at the Super Bowl. The former NFL player with me texts me, I'd say every 2 weeks, saying, have you made any more purchases? And the answer to that is a strong no. Because I just don't have $500 to spend on Nikes. I'd like to.
Perloff, I'm surprised you ever wear these shoes and they're not in some glass case somewhere. The ones you bought in Vegas at the fancy shoe store.
Well, I have two things going on. I actually do have a lot of shoes. I don't usually buy $500 shoes because I just can't afford it. I'm sorry.
No, it's crazy.
But I have a 2-bedroom apartment. My wife's like, do we need another apartment for your shoes? Most of them are like crappy running shoes, but I just bought a new pair of New Balance for $85, and they're pretty cool. I'm going to wear them every day, and I'm sorry it's going to be lame. But
well, good thing George Kittle doesn't work here.
We could share shoes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe at 6'4", probably can't get into yours, but we are the same person almost, which is why we should have been friends.
Perloff wants no part of this.
Not even a little bit, but I can wear shoes.
Why would I want to be friends with myself?
Fair. You already know you and can't stand yourself.
So I do find a little, facts. I do find it a little weird that George Kittle is watching everyone's shoes, because I've noticed something with coworkers, and I don't know if this is universal, and I apologize if this is inappropriate. Women tend to notice when the man wears the same pants to work every day. Men have no idea what is on the bottom half of other men. Like, I couldn't tell you right now if Pat Boyle was wearing shorts or jeans. I don't have the slightest clue.
Pat's wearing nothing.
That's on the table.
That was an option.
And sheesh, Pat, how many conversations do we have to have about this?
But women notice when guys wear the same jeans to work every day. I've had that happen to me.
I think women are a little bit, we do notice what everyone is kind of wearing. I've heard this before, though. When you meet somebody, like the things you notice on someone first, smile and like their facial expression is supposedly number 1. I think your shoes are like 2, and nails or hands might be 3, something like that. It's like a cycle. It's there's research on this.
Pat, can you correct her on this?
Sorry.
Go on.
I'm going to say the pants thing, that's definitely men notice the pants that women wear.
Yeah,
Pants,
especially from behind.
Well,
yeah, I get it.
They've noticed the nails, the shoes.
Oh, and don't forget, Maggie has size 18 feet, so it's hard not to see that.
My water ski feet.
You might not see them, but they hit you in the shins.
My feet arrived 5 seconds before I did.
Nails, shoes, very far down on the list.
They're not even on the list. What's the first thing you notice when you see?
Okay, but here's the thing: you can stare at somebody's shoes. You get caught staring at other places on people, you're going to be at HR in 5 seconds.
Peripherals.
Yeah, it's like staring at the sun, like Seinfeld says. You get a sense of it.
Listen, you're talking to a professional over there on that side of the glass.
If you want to know, mirrors.
If you want to know how
around
it
his
works,
head.
why do you think he wears those weird glasses?
You can see behind you. The chat calls those your Dahmer glasses, by the way, but I've been ignoring that for the last couple days.
Creepy.
They're not creepy.
They're so creepy.
They suit you, Pat, though, like in a good way.
They look fine.
Yeah, I think they're cool.
I cannot tell you. I mean, if it was for my life, I couldn't tell you what Amanda's nails look like right now. Nails, we have no idea what nails are.
But people's hands, I think.
I have no idea. I don't know if your nail, I have no clue.
But you agree with me on smile and shoes, facial expression.
Yes, but I don't.
Literally and figuratively, there's a lot between your smile and your shoes that gets noticed before.
I'm just saying, I don't notice. I do not notice what other men are wearing, if they're wearing jeans, or I have no idea.
If you wore the same, if one of us wore the same thing every day.
No.
Okay, one of us has been wearing something similar almost every day. Have you noticed that?
What do you mean?
Somebody in the group who's actually not here today has had very similar outfit choices for the last couple of weeks.
I'm going to go ahead and say you're talking about Pete.
I'm talking about Pete.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Manny's new haircut.
No,
Okay.
Pete seems to either have 8 pairs or 1 pair of the same kind of white, like light khaki cargo pants. You have not noticed that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were talking about the windbreakers.
No.
But that's just like a look, you know?
No, cargo, khaki
so-
cargo shorts, usually not a look.
So wait, Bogus, what is Pat Boyle wearing right now? Is he wearing shorts or pants?
Yesterday he was wearing like brown or like a dark orange, like loose fitting pants. I noticed those. He has a plaid pair of pants that he wears. There's a drawstring that has caught my attention.
Wow,
Dude,
bogus. That's serial killer.
But today I don't know. No, I do
attentiveness.
notice these things. Like when Mike Fleegman down the hall wears a Taylor Swift t-shirt, I noticed that. When Pete wears the same pants, I noticed that. I do notice these things.
I think
You'd be a
Bogus
good
is-
eyewitness for like some kind of bank robbery or
Somebody was
something.
wearing
I think
a Taylor
Bogus is a
Swift
serial
t-shirt?
killer.
What'd you say?
Pat,
A guy was wearing a Taylor Swift shirt?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Michael Fleegman is like the
big Swiftie.
biggest Taylor Swift fan I've ever met.
Yeah.
It's weird.
He produces the
I like
WNBA.
great guy. Just like total sports hardcore fan and then also hardcore Taylor Swift fan. Find the correlation.
The Venn diagram of this, it's very few people. But good for him.
I did have a Maggie hand observation too recently. Do you always wear your engagement ring?
No, I got it cleaned recently.
See? Noticed it.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very shiny.
Nice.
I just got it cleaned for the first time in like 2.5 years.
Yeah. It's noticeable.
Yeah,
See?
but if you
Yeah,
look
guys,
at
take
but
it.
if you look at you look at a woman's finger, it looks like you're trying to see if she's married.
Yeah.
But
That's what I'm doing.
you're happily
now.
married, Bogus. You're not
If we
checking
keep
out.
having this conversation, I might come home and the doors might be locked.
Bogus's kid, Jake, traumatized right now in the
Oh,
newsroom.
I'm not speaking directly to Maggie, but like I've walked on the street and seen a pretty woman, and my next thought is, "What's on her left hand?" It just happens. It's 100% happens. I don't care. I own that. I don't talk to her after the fact.
That's Bogues. Stock up for Bogues. M&P
Gathering
500.
information. I'm looking out for Boyle.
So what's the thing that you notice most on a person? We'll just leave that to the imagination. 855-212-4227.
Is he a diver or a pole vaulter?
In fact, yes. Did he win the gold or lose the gold? Did you actually do a headline there?
Nothing other than George Kittle, Aaron Judge homered, Mets won. That's it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, see you guys on the phones. Got to take a quick break here, but we want to get to your phone calls on our multiverse question. What would have happened if Alabama had beaten Michigan in last year's college football playoff semifinal? How is the world different amidst all of that? Also, we have another very important college football question to ask the audience next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating lakes for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. So here's to Maggie and her feet so grand. She's the funniest girl in all the land. With her giant feet, she's never beat. Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Oh, Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet
30 seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Okay, we have a lot to get to with college football, but we pause for a second because we are asking this sort of philosophical question, multiverse question. How would the world have been different if Alabama had beaten Michigan in the college football playoff semifinal last year? Let's not forget that game came down to overtime, 4th down. Jalen Milroe can't get into the end zone, and it was one of the all-time great games. If Alabama wins that game, like, what happens? Does Jim Harbaugh stay at Michigan maybe? Is Jalen Milroe in the NFL? Is JJ McCarthy in the NFL? Who would have taken over Alabama? Would it still have been Kalen DeBoer if the two coaches had just met in the championship game and Saban retires? There's just a lot there.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess it's never happened. That doesn't seem like a prohibitor to me. But I think the biggest question is Jim Harbaugh stay to try to finally win one for Michigan.
Yeah, that would have been something. Andy is in Michigan and has a thought on this. What's up, Andy?
Hey, not much, guys. Love your show.
Oh, thanks.
But this one is a no-brainer for me. Perloff, I totally agree with you. Harbaugh stays. Harbaugh leaves no matter what.
Yeah.
And let's go to a backstory here. He starts out at Stanford, right? Then he goes to the 49ers. He gets within an inch of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then, so from the rumors that I heard, his wife really, really likes Southern California. So I think the goal eventually was for Harbaugh to go back to Southern California, pursue the dream to go back to the NFL and get that Super Bowl. But, I mean, look at the timing of this. You have the Chargers job opening up. You have the NCAA just dropping the hammer on Harbaugh. He was sick of it. He was leaving no matter what.
Yeah. Andy, I think you guys might be right about this, that Harbaugh was leaving no matter what, but let's think about it. The year before, Harbaugh would have gotten to the same spot, right? Mm-hmm. College football national semifinal, gets into the shootout against TCU. Michigan loses, and there wasn't the buzz around Harbaugh in the NFL. And maybe...
Right, but the Chargers job wasn't up yet.
That's very true. The Chargers job wasn't up, and the Chargers were desperate. But you're telling me that the Raiders haven't been desperate, that the Bears haven't been desperate, that the Vikings weren't desperate? There were other teams that Harbaugh was linked to that you would think would have been a no-brainer to bring Harbaugh aboard.
Right, but also, too, he was never under...
The Chargers quarterback, though.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Chargers... I can't even say it.
No, we get it.
The quarterback situation for the Chargers was very ideal.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, this is awesome for Harbaugh that this job came available at the time it did. I'm just saying Harbaugh's stock definitely got a major bump from winning the title that it didn't have from just going to the semifinal the year before. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Wait, so...
I agree with that.
Was this the first year? And maybe... I guess so. He was undefeated the year before because they were especially good last year. Even if they had lost that game to Alabama, they felt like the team was on a trajectory up. They kept getting better and better.
They were one of the most
better.
veteran teams in entire college
also,
football.
too, just in I feel like Harbaugh. It's one thing to have. I think early on when they beat Ohio State and he was interviewing, I felt like he is just strengthening his legacy every year. I think he's gotten hotter and hotter, even without that Alabama win. I think he was a better prospect after last season.
Because he started beating Ohio State.
Yeah, I just feel like the cumulative, 3 years in a row of outstanding excellence. I think he was a hot name in the NFL way before that Final Four game.
But again, I think, and Andy, thank you for the phone call and the perspective. I think that, he was hot, should have been the same level of hot going into that game against TCU. And the thing that stinks about it is that TCU ended up getting so destroyed in the national title game, it made that game against Michigan look worse for Harbaugh. Right? Because clearly TCU was not the foe that we believe they were because Georgia smacked them around.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing revisionist history, but I just feel like Harbaugh just kept on getting better and better and better. Even before the title, Harbaugh was getting a lot of respect last year because this is 3 amazing seasons in a row. That's better than having 1 amazing season or even 2.
Yeah, that's true. What changed?
Well, honestly, nothing changed, right? They've been using stallions all along.
No,
right?
it happened after the pandemic. Remember?
Right. No, no, I mean during the 3-year run.
Yes, during the 3-year run, they were using the stallions intel from the sidelines. Listen, they were also recruiting great. They got JJ McCarthy, Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive line, although Hutchinson wasn't there last year, but you know what I mean.
Ohio State didn't have a quarterback last year. That helped.
Okay, let's turn our attention to this year in college football. Saban is gone. Jim Harbaugh is gone. Who is the kingmaker now in college football? And you can take this a couple different ways. The most, the face of the sport in terms of coach.
Wait, what does kingmaker mean?
Or the guy who I think gets the recruits. He's the one who, Saban, even up year, quote unquote, down year, whatever it is, you play for Nick Saban, you are getting the glow of Saban.
Okay, who's the new Saban? Yeah. Well, it's clearly Kirby Smart. I mean, he's just at the top of the mountain, and they are so far and away the number 1 team to me. Just if they get to the final, I know they're 1 and Ohio State's 2, but if they get to that final game, who's not betting on Georgia right now with what we know now?
I get it, but I think that if there's a second answer here, if they can have a great season this year, and it's Steve Sarkisian, because Sark has getting the quarterback right. Which Georgia, it's not so much of a quarterback reliant sort of place. Stetson Bennett won 2 titles there, right? It's not that type of thing. If Sark becomes the new quarterback guy, or if Lincoln Riley gets that back or whatever, but let's pause on Sark for a second. Texas has always had the resources, the ability, and now with Ewers to Arch Manning, and if Arch pans out, then Sark, I think, could end up becoming that quarterback kingmaker.
Yeah, he could be that quarterback kingmaker. You could say the same thing about Ryan Day. I mean, he's had a lot of quarterbacks come through there. But the thing is about those offensive coaches, that's why I was asking what you mean by kingmaker. Like, are those guys ever going to be Saban in the sense of like Sark, Lane Kiffin, Kalen DeBoer? Like, are you ever going to be able to, Lincoln Riley? Like, I feel like there's the quarterback geniuses and they're great and they get to the Final Four, but then there's a different kind of coach who wins it all. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like Lincoln Riley's the ultimate, man. You're going to have a high-flying offense, but you ain't not going to win a title.
Well, you need a defense.
And Sark feels a little bit the same. I feel like Sark is going to have a great offense, but I just don't know if he's I love Sark, but I don't know if he's a complete coach that can have sustained championship success. So I don't know if he steps into Saban's shoes. I think you have to win so much to be the next Saban. Yeah. By the way, like why would say it's Sark? Why would it be that over Dan Lanning and
Dan Lanning
and Lane Kiffin and all these other and Lincoln Riley? Like those guys all can make great quarterbacks. And Ryan Day. I'm not sure like Sark stands out that much among them. He can scheme up an offense. But I would go like you're not going to have one of these offensive gurus really take over the sport because there's just too many of them.
Can I give you another person to keep an eye out for? Let's say Shedeur and Travis Hunter both go top 10 and both hit big in the NFL. Then is Dion the guy? You guys are all looking at me like I'm crazy. Crickets. Yes, EJ. Save me.
No chance.
Okay.
No chance. I'm sorry. I
no
couldn't
chance.
go there. I think that situation has been too unstable.
It's only been a year and a half.
I know, and that's what's so scary about it. Like, I just feel like when we think about Saban, we think about stability. We think about, doing everything the right way every day. It's like a level of focus that is not Colorado. It doesn't mean Dion can't be successful at Colorado. I just think he'll be gone from college football doing something totally different in 3 years. I can't see him being that person, even if Shedeur and Travis are awesome.
Okay, but listen, like reputations change because Saban was coming off that disaster with the Miami Dolphins, and I don't think anyone thought he's stable, he's this, he's that. He looked like a guy who jumped ship because he couldn't hack it in the NFL, and obviously now has completely changed his reputation. But it wasn't awesome for Saban when he first, left Miami. That was messy. The Dolphins.
Oh, man.
The next kingmaker in college football. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That was messy in Miami. It wasn't prime.
Nothing is. Okay, we've got more NFL news for you on this very, very busy Thursday morning. What's next for a team who just lost a QB? I'll tell you next.
Sonnets to Tom Clevine's brain. Oh, Clevine's brain, it's on the train. Running through the strategies and games. Peter loves it for each day. Shouts hooray for Clevine's brain. In every game while others cheer for strikes and all the fame. Peter's got his notebook out, jotting insights from the game. Look at the play, what a scheme, he'll loudly explain. Who needs a homer when you've got Clevine's brain? Oh, Clevine's brain, it's on the train, fighting through the strategies and games. Peter loves it more each day, shouts hooray for Clevine's brain. While fans go wild for curveballs that spin, Peter's analyzing the genius within. From tactic throws to the mental domain, he's all about the cerebrum game. Oh, Clevine's brain, it's on the train, running through the strategies and games. Peter loves it for each number one fan of Tom Brady's brain. So here's to the brain that rules the game, and to Peter Bellotti, who's never take. While we cheer the sports, he'll always remain the number one fan of Tom Brady's brain. So here's to the brain that rules the game, and to Peter Bellotti, who's never take. While we cheer the sports, he'll always remain the number one fan of Tom Brady's brain.
Here at Sports Illustrated, it's not rare that champions roam our hallways. But today, we welcome a master of a different sort. His name is Kobayashi, and he's here today for 2 challenges. Number 1, we'll put 1 minute on the
He's got a new shirt. It's purple and snazzy, ain't no dirt. Got it from his kids on Father's Day. Now he wears it in a proud peacock way. Hey! Purple shirt, our Pete looks so fine. Every time he wears it, oh how he shines. Walking down the street, he's a dashing sight. In the purple shirt, everything's alright. It's not just a shirt, it's a royal robe. Strutting around the town, across the globe. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Pink and purple, the fairest of them all. Hey, hey, purple shirt.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Tough news. JJ McCarthy is going to miss the entire season. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. That's what the Minnesota Vikings said yesterday, Pearl. And why it's tough news is because, listen, we're going to get to see McCarthy a lot in the future, but forgive us for getting excited after we watched the rookie quarterbacks, for the most part, really look good in that first preseason game, including JJ McCarthy. Like, damn, he could play in this league. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch, and then it gets derailed.
Yeah, the thing is, JJ McCarthy's really young. So we really probably should have been thinking long-term with JJ McCarthy. To me, this is still going to be like an all-time quarterback class. He's 21, and he doesn't turn 22 until after next season.
Wow.
So he is really young, and he kind of looks young, but he's played so long that we feel like we know him in terms of college football. This is just a blip. Obviously, I think this could still, if we're talking about this class, the 2024 class, it's going to be the famous class of quarterbacks. It really is going to we've only had 6 one other time, and it was 83.
Yeah. That was an all-time class.
You have just a lot of guys. That's the thing about it, is it's not even that they're better. You just have a lot of chances to have 3 Hall of Famers. And honestly, the Caleb, Jaden Daniels start is so good at 1 and 2.
Okay, but now, at least for in the immediate, some guys are kind of falling off here, because I don't think Drake May is going to start. I think Jacoby Brissett will start. Michael Penix is not going to start because they paid Kirk Cousins all this money. And I don't know about Bo Nix. He looked good in that preseason game, but it's not like Sean Payton is running to tell you that Bo Nix is QB1.
But they haven't fallen off. Like, all along, we knew that Drake May was going to sit behind Jacoby Brissett. All along, we actually knew, the Vikings, they're like telling you, it doesn't matter what JJ McCarthy does, Sam Darnold is a starter. I kind of think Nix will play at a certain point, even if it's not week 1. So, again, I think you have to look big picture with this. The one that I think is the most confusing, the most ready-to-go guy seems like Penix, and he's definitely sitting because they just spent all that money on Cousins, so there's nothing he can do. So I just think it's as long as they play well in preseason. By the way, it's funny. Week 2 of the preseason, these guys could all take a step back. They're probably going to see much harder defenses. So again, just look big picture here, Maggie. This is not about this year. Even for JJ McCarthy, I think in 10 years, we're going to look back and there's going to be some big time. It's another great class, by the way, the 2020 class that just got paid, the Jordan Love class. That is Jalen Hurts,
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that one is super loaded. I think we're just getting better quarterbacks into the NFL. I think there's a lot of good classes, and the fact that there's 6 of them this year, I'm very, very impressed. I'm really excited for them. The McCarthy thing is a bummer, I admit, but I'm trying to look long term. I'm trying to be smart about this.
It's funny just taking this away from McCarthy for a second. Do you think we're going to see less classes that have like all-time busts in them, or do you think we're going to get more classes that are really, really good? Because I still think it's going to be exactly where it was, which is 50% or maybe even a little bit less, because that great 2020 class of Burrow and Herbert and Tua and Jordan Love, I'll give you the next year with Zach Wilson and Trey Lance. Trevor Lawrence got paid, but he hasn't been the promised one that we were expecting. I still think that no matter what, it's going to be tough. And I just reminded what Nick Saban said on Hard Knocks when he was a guest star on the first episode, where he said it's the expectations on these guys can ruin them almost right out of the gate. And that's not going away, because the way the NFL is set up, the rookie salary cap, you've got to try to capitalize on these guys when they're young, let alone the media aspect of it, the fan aspect of it, and how much we expect guys to be good right away. So
I think that year you're talking about, that's pure COVID. I mean, they screwed up on Trey. They just didn't see Trey Lance. They saw the highlights. They worked him out.
Yeah.
That was just a weird year, honestly, because you have so many big years. 18 was a gigantic year with Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. 20 was just a monster, I just said. Quarterbacks are getting better.
What about Bryce Young? What about the next year? The number 1 overall pick might end up going down as one of the biggest busts ever if he doesn't turn it around.
The 2023 class you have C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. We'll see at some point Hendon Hooker. I mean, this could be a really good class.
I don't know about that.
I mean, you don't. I mean, obviously, you already have one ace in the hole with C.J. Stroud, and I'm sorry.
One.
I'm pretty excited about Anthony Richardson.
I'm excited to watch him too. He played 4 games last year. I mean,
no, I know. I'm just saying, like, this looks like a potentially interesting class, and that guy never even played college football. Just like I always say, I laugh so hard when people say the state of quarterbacks is in trouble. We are paying. We just every offseason we pay another quarterback $50 million. There's just nothing but star quarterbacks coming into the NFL at a flood pace. There's so many good ones right now.
855-212-4227. So this was a little surprising that JJ McCarthy is the first rookie, according to CBS, who had this, the research team, first rookie to ever miss the whole season with an injury. I mean, you think back to Joe Burrow, who got hurt his rookie year. He played 10 games. He played a lot of the season. And we think about him as one of those injured, early injury quarterbacks.
Trey Lance got hurt, right? But he was a backup. But
he didn't miss the whole season.
Yeah, no, I'm saying exactly. Like, none of these guys, they've all missed part of the season. So to miss a whole season, you got to tear your ACL in camp. That's never happened to a quarterback. That seems weird. Chad Pennington was able to play his entire first year. That guy was never healthy for 2 weeks.
I think that, I think that, listen, do you read into that at all? I don't think you can. Everything is so, this is just a unique situation where I think if they really were hell-bent on getting him back this year, maybe they would leave the door open. They're not leaving the door open, and I think that's to do him a favor and probably even to do Darnold a favor. Let's not let this hover over every week 2, week 3, week 4. Can I get an update? Can I get an update? We saw this with Aaron Rodgers last year, and obviously he's got a lot more skin in the game, but the whole season for the Jets was just about, could Rodgers actually come back? I think the Vikings wanted to avoid that and just shut the door on it.
Absolutely. Obviously, they could push to have him back in December. There's 0 point. Because if Darnold's playing well enough to have him in playoff contention, then you are not going to see JJ McCarthy. And if they're bad, then you want to protect your draft pick. By the way, I'm looking at some of these other quarterbacks. Sam Bradford got through a play at his rookie season. If Sam Bradford can play, but JJ McCarthy can't, some of the most injured quarterbacks in the history of the sport.
I'm as surprised as you.
This is situational. I think if he was a veteran, they would rush him back at a certain point. Jimmy G, I don't know. Are these just first-round guys? Regardless, I guess a later-round pick never would have missed it either. It's okay, though. It is okay. I think I've been hitting on this. The bigger issue is, Maggie, where are we going as Vikings fans? Like, what are we doing here? We're kind of stuck in limbo. And I know that this is a small-term blip, but it was just a depressing day yesterday. Jordan Addison the wide receiver got carted off. Another wide receiver got hurt. It just feels like there's not positive momentum around this franchise, and I'm not sure how to get it back.
Okay, so you know what this could be a case of here with the Vikings? This could just be one of those years. Let's be honest.
Is that a technical analytic term?
Yes.
Is that
one of those years, guys? And I could go back to some stuff that's actually pretty tragic with Kyrie Jackson. I mean, you start off your offseason in July with a 4th-round pick out of Oregon who tragically passes away in a car accident. You had one of your promising young quarterbacks in Mekhi Blackman already tore an ACL. Now you got the McCarthy injury. Jordan Addison, okay, he's going to be back, thankfully, but is this maybe just shaping up like, oh, gosh, something was off here from the very beginning of the year? And that's why I don't think anyone's on the hot seat in terms of coaches. I think everything is going to get sort of in neutral. However, doesn't mean that the Vikings are going to fall off a cliff this year either, right? It doesn't mean they're going to be a 3-win team or a 4-win team. They could still hold the fort. They can still be a middle of the pack. Maybe they're in the hunt graphic until like the 3rd week in December or something like that, where they're still one of those teams like in the hunt.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the first half of their schedule is murderer's row.
Yeah,
so that
make up for it.
Yeah,
make up some ground.
Well, to get in the hunt, though, you have to start off okay. I think it's going to be hard to do that. You say that, and right now in August, it sounds okay. It's just one of those years everybody gets a pass. But you know the impact of actually losing games can make it a lot harder. It's easy for us to sit back here in our studio. If you're in that building and they're losing, which is very likely because this, again, the schedule is brutal, then I think it's going to be really tough. And it's not, I mean, even if they're not losing, if they're just average, at a certain point, the owner's going to be like, what are you doing, Kevin O'Connell? You're in your 3rd year. Are we going in the right direction? We were 13-4 2 years ago. Why are we 7-10?
855-212-4227. In our chat, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet and twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNet. We're also streaming live on X at Maggie Gray. Daly says, one of those years is every single year for the Vikings. Ouch. That's not true. Another odd observation from the chat while we're here. Who was this earlier? I want to give them credit. It said, EJ looks stoned. That's no way. I'm going to tell you, the person least likely to be stoned on this show, including Perloff and myself, is EJ. And we don't even smoke. There's nothing stoned about EJ. That's just not you.
What's weird is that, like, yesterday, like, you guys, I didn't respond to any of you guys text after like 8 p.m. I was so beat yesterday between show, I had a doctor's appointment. It was a long day. So I got the most sleep I've had since I came back remotely.
Ironically, you look the worst.
Yeah, and now they're saying I look the worst, which I'm like, what does that mean? Should I just go back to my normal 4 hours of sleep, working on this show till midnight and waking up at 4 a.m.?
Don't
like,
do
I
that.
couldn't believe that when I saw that quote. I was like, wow, I went to sleep at 8:30 last night.
That can be very jarring when you think you're doing okay and you'll go and someone's like, oh, you look really tired. It's like, thank you. I feel like $1 million. Thank you for saying
And
that.
you're right, by the way. I don't do anything.
I
don't smoke. I don't do anything.
You're just a weirdo in name only.
Yeah. I think people see like the locks and they're like, oh, he must smoke. And I'm like, no, sorry.
No, there's nothing Rasta about EJ.
Yeah.
Just put that out there.
You thinking about starting? Now that everyone thinks you're high anyway, you might as well go for it.
I know nobody would ever know that, right?
Yeah. Like you have a free pass, buddy, if you want to.
Do like reverse Visine, whereas Visine clears your eyes, you make your eyes red on purpose.
That's funny. The stoners like starter kit. Like you want everybody to think you're high, but you're not.
Now I'm trying to think of who's the most likely to be stoned on this show. Since I'm the least likely. I feel like it's Bogus.
Say Jake. I'm just kidding. Bogus's 10-year-old son is here. Just kidding. He's a Josh Allen fan, so he gets a pass from me on everything. I don't know. Our audience and our fans are more likely, apparently enjoy this show after a little
I don't know. We got 220-somethings on the other side of the glass here.
Yeah.
Assuming they're high. Why not? I mean, you got edibles. What's the...
Honestly,
you don't even have to smell like smoke anymore.
It was illegal when we were young.
Yeah, actually just roasted a clip in the bathroom before.
Yeah.
Around here, that's just par.
Usually it's unfiltered cigarettes, but...
Yes. We're still smoking the old stuff back around here. Some of the hosts.
I mean, obviously,
Lucky Strikes.
It's so much more acceptable now. I walk along the streets of New York and everybody's smoking openly. Like, it's just a different ballgame. So if EJ, even if you were stoned, like, it really, except for the fact that you're working, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Honestly, I don't know how Kaplan comes up with some of these like ideas. I don't think he is, but to come up with all these songs and stuff about
Cap
my
went
big feet.
to University of Colorado in Boulder.
Cap did more than just weed. Smoked more than just weed.
Got to be careful with that stuff.
It's actually funny though. Yesterday I was walking to my car after I left the station, and he had like the ultimate dichotomy of an interaction. There was some guy just sitting on the curb, just rolling up a joint.
Yeah.
And you had this like pretentious looking woman walk past, and she was like horrified, and I was like, "Can I get some of that?"
If someone smoking a joint is the weirdest thing you see in New York City all day, you are just not living your life properly. You know?
Wait, now I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question because now we're talking about interactions. And I talked to my fiance about this because it happened to me again a couple of days ago when I was again out at an appointment. Is it acceptable to just, I have this bad knee. It's torn up and I'm walking around. Everybody sees I'm on this like long knee brace.
Yeah.
This should not be a conversation starter for just any rando on the street. Like I used to see people on crutches, wheelchairs, whatever, all the time. And like, you know, maybe I give them a head nod or whatever, but like usually keep it moving. Like treat them normally. I have this injury and anytime I'm out is always someone who's like, ooh, how'd you do that? Oh, what happened?
You want to know what this is, EJ? I know what this is. And to correct me if I'm wrong, people are asking you about your injury so they can bring up an injury they've had in the past. Like, oh, so you got your knee there. You know, when I hurt my knee, I had to go see Perloff's weird doctor who put me in a whirlpool full of scabies, you know, something like that. And it's just an opportunity to talk about themselves, not so much to talk about you.
I guess I haven't had someone do that though. I mean, usually it's just people who are just like, "Oh, what'd you do? Did you do this?" Or
wait.
I'm like, "Leave me alone." It's already bad enough that I'm embarrassed to be walking around here with this damn long brace, and now I gotta explain to you, rando 45, why I got injured and relive this terrible experience again. And it happens to me all the time. I didn't realize this.
What did randos 1 through 44 say?
Perloff, you had a question for EJ.
45.
Wait, but okay. So like if a coworker walks in crutches, you immediately ask what happened, right? So you're talking about
totally different.
Okay.
I mean like randos in New York City.
Okay,
So,
I have
right.
another question for you. Do you actually tell them the real story? Because to be honest, charity kickball game might not live up to the expectation. I think you got to come up with a bigger story. It's like, well, I was scaling Everest and oxygen was getting low and someone had to go back to save the entire expedition and it was me. Not I was stealing third at Dion Dawkins' charity softball or charity kickball event and I ripped up my knee.
I'll be honest, I usually just go with the standard that I was playing charity kickball and people are then very fascinated by that. They're like, kickball?
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know.
Some people were like, what's kickball? Some people were like, is that the third grade game I played in gym? And I'm like, yes, that kickball. And they're like, why were you playing? Like, so
wow.
The kickball answer is actually makes people more intrigued, which is probably bad for me because again, now I'm in these conversations with just people I have no idea.
How about I got one for you.
Like glasses, like Boyle, if they're crazy or whatever, I'm still talking to them.
I think you got to do the you should see the other guy. Because I would keep walking if I was like, oh, man, what happened? You should see the other guy. I'm backing away. Clearly, you're a violent person. So I'm out of the conversation. And I'm scooting out of there. So,
but a violent person that suffered a knee tear
but
in
if
a
you
fight?
Should see the other guy.
Well, I'm going to
what are you in a coma.
Kickboxing? Sparring?
Fighting a bear.
Exactly. I could be Jean-Claude Van Damme. That person could be. I'm getting the hell out of there. You should see the other guy? It's a conversation ender.
I feel like that's a 1990s rom-com line that nobody says in reality anymore.
Just wait. Pat?
I gotta try it.
Wait till EJ walks in the office in a couple weeks.
Well, I know the truth.
Yeah, that's true. 855-212-4227.
You should see the other guy. Who? Deion Dawkins?
He was doing just fine, actually. He's in excellent shape. Okay. All right. We got a lot more to do. The chat's asking if Deion Dawkins is paying for your painkillers, EJ. We'll answer that on the other side.
Yeah.
We take a break. We've got more football for you in just a moment.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Sports talk under digital skies lives a fan named Ostrich Eyes 87 with a heart twice the size. He logs on to Twitch where the streams flow like dreams to catch every word from the man of his means. Oh, Ostrich Eyes, watching with awe. Your love for bogus, it breaks every law. Twist streams and chats, his voice rings so true. Ostrich Eyes 87, this verse is for you. From comments to cheers, he's always partaking. With likes and subscriptions, the ground he's shaking. In the realm of sports talk, where legends are made, his loyalty shines, never bound to fade. Oh, Ostrich Eyes, watching with awe. Your love for bogus, it breaks every law. Through twist streams and chats, his voice rings so true. Ostrich Eyes 87, this verse is for you. Speaks, Ostrich Eyes is all ears. His comments and emojis, cheers amongst cheers. In a virtual crowd, he stands tall and proud. For his hero on Twitch, he's always about. Oh, so here's the Ostrich Eyes, the vision so keen. On Twitch he follows on the sports talk scene. Keep watching, keep cheering in the digital view. Ostrich Eyes 87, this fan anthem's for you.
Two minutes remaining.
Aiming for new heights in the heart of the game, under the bright lights. EJ stood ready, aiming for new heights, but fate took a turn on that somber play. Left us all speechless, nothing to say. Chase me, oh, it has left us in the silence, the crowd's hush. Dreams on hold, the cheers now freeze. Hope fades out with a gentle breeze. Once danced on the field, now a quiet rest. Each stride a memory, we thought you the best. The journey's paused, the spirit feels heavy. Oh, how we miss you, strong and steady. Chase me, oh, it has left us in the silence, the crowd's hush. Dreams on hold, cheers now freeze. with a gentle breeze. Can the stars align once more for you? Hear the whispers in the morning dew. Stand by you in highs and lows, waiting for the day you rise and glow. HSC, all it has left us in the silence. The crowds hush, dreams on hold, the cheers now freeze. Hope fades out with a gentle breeze.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Okay, feels like there's a lot of talk about identity theft in the air. And I got nervous yesterday. Well, basically, there was a big story. Everybody's Social Security numbers got stolen yesterday. That's a big problem.
Yeah, you told me about that. I did not hear that all of our, like the world's Social Security numbers, or
I think
the world,
I think it might be America. There were 2.9 Social Security number. I saw it on social media, then I saw it in the LA Times this morning.
Oh, no.
So I don't know. They're trying to figure that out. I got hit on my phone when I get a credit card charge comes. I got a $449 charge out of nowhere at 10 o'clock yesterday.
Oh, I think I know what that is.
I knew you would, and I thought you might have gotten the same thing. And I'm like, $449.
It's a very
Am I getting
specific
identity
number.
thefted, or does that number sound familiar? And then it dawned on me, so I Google.
49ers are the defending NFC champions, but what is in store in 2024?
Okay. Thank you.
I think that was my fault. I'm sorry.
I was wondering, what cost $449? Why does that number sound familiar? Sunday ticket, how much does it cost? $449. It's an automatic renew for Sunday ticket because I've been spinning my wheels and I haven't renewed my Sunday ticket yet. And boom, I got hit out of nowhere. I thought it was identity theft. Turns out it was the NFL. Even worse.
Oh, my God.
But you didn't get that charge yesterday?
I didn't get the charge. I thought I got the charge like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, I got the email saying in 2 weeks, you're going to auto renew if you don't want it. And I actually declined it because $450 felt like too much. But
you're going to end up paying it.
Well, I saw that they are finally, unlike last year, they're letting you break up the payments.
Oh, because of the court case, probably.
They're winning the court case now.
You're going to do monthly payments.
You can do, or I think you can do 4 payments instead of $450 up top. And even though it's the same money, that sounds more palatable to me.
Oh, so you are going to do it, but you haven't done it yet.
Because DirecTV used to let you do that, and it just felt better to give them like $70 a month for 6 months than giving them $400 immediately.
No, it hits you right in the core. When you're just like, oh, I got to pay the NFL more money.
$450s, that's not good.
No, it's a lot.
That's not good, but
also,
it's
an extra $100 for me for NFL Plus, which I pay for.
By the way, I get NFL Plus. I haven't paid for it in years. I don't know.
They are probably charging you, and you're just not realizing it.
I know.
Yeah. Although that one,
you think the NFL got this rich by letting Andrew Perloff skate on an NFL Plus subscription? No shot.
But that one, I know when it happens because despite being on year like 7 of having whatever that's been called, it was Game Pass, or whatever. The NFL uses like a third party vendor to charge you for it, and my credit card always declines it. So I get that notification, and I have to go back and like manually do it, and there's no way to it just keeps happening.
I think the NFL is emailing an old email address with all these updates. I never got a warning that they were going to recharge my credit card. I never got this email.
Yeah. I honestly, no one should even do the Nigerian prince scam anymore. Just claim to be the NFL. It's like, I'm charging you, it's going to be $68 for like red zone, gold zone, green zone pass. I'm like, all right.
Gosh.
I need it.
That new venue thing, that is causing havoc out there. The new multi-network sports thing. There are a lot of people who are $59.99.
Yeah, it's Fox, it's ESPN,
Fox,
and Turner.
Yeah, apparently the courts are having some questions about how this all works. It is just a chaotic time. I am so sorry. I'm going to be that guy. Like, give me 2006 when I could just turn on my cable, watch SportsCenter, flip to the game. Like, do we really need all this in our lives?
Yes.
There is more sports to watch, but they're putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, well, no, but like think about it. Bogus had his son Jake here today, right? He's never going to grow up in a world where he can't just watch any game he wants at any time, all the time.
Is he a billionaire?
We can. This is going to be on a baseball scholarship, obviously. No, we are. It's like the you can't put the genie back in the bottle thing. If I want to watch Browns Titans Sunday at 1, and I live nowhere near these two cities, I'm expecting now to be able to watch that. Jake should be expecting to watch whatever he wants, whenever he wants. We live in this world now. It's not like when you and I were growing up and you just had to watch whatever was on in your local market.
You're talking about the NFL. It's just totally different. There's no way the average sports fan is going to be able to buy every baseball game, every basketball game, every football. You're going to invest in NFL, but that's it. Jake's not buying the MLB pass to watch the Guardians versus the Royals. This is not happening. He's not made of money. Not yet. I don't know if he's going to go. Once he gets his first job on Wall Street, maybe he can afford that.
Jake, would you like to weigh in on this?
He's already signed up through year 2068 because they just keep charging you.
Yeah.
He doesn't even realize it.
I give them $9 a month for perpetuity.
It's hard enough to watch. I have 17 streaming services. I don't even know what the heck they are, what's coming in. There's nothing on any of them.
Oh, how about this for annoying? So I pay for every streaming service under the sun. I'm right with you. Except apparently I don't pay for Apple TV. And I went to go watch that Jake Gyllenhaal show. And it's like, would you like to watch the first episode free? It's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yep.
I assumed I've been paying for this. I must have canceled it in a frenzy. And now I actually want it.
And that's the cheap one. That's only like $6 a month, right?
Yeah.
Which raises an interesting question. Does anyone know what happens in episode 2? Because I would not pay for it. Because I watched episode 1, so hooked, just did not have the energy to buy Apple TV.
Presumed innocent. This is what I want to watch, and I can't now.
It's good, and I thought it was brand new, and I mentioned it to Perloff. He's like, there was a Richard Gere movie, Harrison Ford movie. I was like, oh, if you say so. So you know what happens in episode 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7.
Apparently I don't.
Well, did he do it or did he not do it?
Well, it's a very, very famous book by Scott Turow, right? They changed the ending.
In this one?
Yeah, that's what everyone's. That's all I will say. I do not want to spoil for anyone out there, but apparently they do a new ending.
My dad gave me 1 month.
Of your Apple TV?
Yep.
Nice.
He gave me 1 month. He was like, you have 1 month to watch the show, and that's it.
He's cutting you off.
And by the way, did you know the streaming services are now adding new software so you can't share passwords anymore?
Yep.
Which is going to be super annoying because I need EJ's Peacock to watch the Eagles on Friday night.
I have dibs of EJ's Peacock already. That sounded weird. I have dibs on the login because I have NFL Plus. And so I don't need Peacock.
Yeah, Netflix cracking down on the sharing passwords. Costco's cracking down on people sharing their membership cards.
What?
That's so lame.
It's time for the little guy to hit back. We got to start cheating the system any way we can.
No, you already are. That's the problem.
Well, yeah. Well, it was designed to be cheated. Why would I pay however many dollars a month it is for Netflix and Costco when I can just share?
I'm a 41-year-old woman who still uses my mom's Costco card. You're telling me that's going away?
That's going away.
I have to grow up now?
They might start making you show photo ID.
That's criminal.
I mean, my fiance, I went to go to Costco to buy some stuff using my fiance's card. And they were like, no, you can't use it.
What?
Like, I had to literally
prove I'm not Andrea.
I mean, my picture's already on my Costco card.
Yeah, see, I don't have a Costco card.
But isn't your mom's face is on it, isn't it?
Yeah, but we look alike.
Right.
Is your maiden name is Gray, right?
Yeah.
All right. Just say, well, I got some Botox. I don't look like my mom.
My mom looks better than me.
Can I say something that's happening here that is driving me nuts, by the way? You are so certain that NFL Plus is going to show that Friday night game. How do you know that?
It's been showing it to me for years.
There's no years. This is an entirely new system. Like, they're inventing new streaming partners for. You're telling me for years you've been able to watch the Christmas game on Shazam or whatever. Like, what are you talking about?
I watched all these preseason games?
I know they've been airing the preseason for a decade. Everyone knows that, but they have not announced that all these streaming games are going to be on NFL Plus.
Okay. So last year, the games that were exclusively on Peacock, both the playoff game and the regular season game, because the Bills played on the regular season game, I just watched it on my phone. My phone's basically the size of a laptop anyway.
So there are differences, too, between the NFL app and other places. Like, the NFL app shows you things sometimes that you can only watch on the NFL app. But, like, I don't know if they're going to let you see Peacock for free through the NFL app again.
She's saying that last year they did.
Last year, I watched Easton Stick almost beat my Buffalo Bills on my phone as I was wrapping gifts, and I almost had an anxiety attack.
Yeah, but are you sure that they're doing that all? Because they were expanding their streaming a lot. I'm not so positive because obviously.
Then what am I paying $100 for?
To be able to watch the games
and game rewind.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think that I've never seen. I don't hear other people talking about that. Like, oh, just get NFL Plus and you'll get everything. Maybe you're right.
This was our secret.
By the way,
darn it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't risk that, Maggie. I can't risk your system because it's Friday night. Like, I got to see the Eagles and Packers play.
But just get in and out of Peacock. You can do it once and then cancel it a week later.
I know.
Pay whatever it is.
Listen, I did, but I think
and it's
I already
EJ's
did
account,
that
so he doesn't really want to cancel.
I did that for Texans-Browns, though.
New email.
I don't have a second email because of identity theft fraud fear.
Wait, guys, if you get Peacock, you get all of WWE, you get all of the offense.
Why is his mic on?
I know. How will we live?
Come on.
I know. We
you know
should
what
have
else
thought
has
about that.
WWE? Like TV, dude. Like, I'm not getting Peacock for WWE.
You go watch the Stephen Curry show. That's terrible.
Oh, I forgot
You can
Steph
see if he's a
Curry
good
show.
actor.
Yeah.
He has a new show. Good actor, not a good show.
And that's I'll take your word for it.
That's my pitch.
No way
Get
I'm watching
Peacock.
Steph Curry. All right, let's get to some headlines, shall we?
Guys, in a shocking turn of events, the WNBA is reportedly awarding next summer's All-Star game to the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's team. She has already been voted a starter for that game. It'll be the first time Indy hosts this event, but the NBA version was just in the city.
They might as well move the headquarters of the WNBA to Indy. Just make this like everything. I'm excited that they're actually resuming the season.
Tonight, 3 games tonight. Angel Reese is one of them. Sky against the Mercury. Liberty at the Sparks.
I felt like something's been kind of missing in our lives, and I think it's been Caitlin Clark. We haven't had a hot take about her in like a month because of the Olympics.
It's wild.
EJ, what's the deal? Do the players who are in the Olympics, do they have any extra like off time, or is Team USA winning gold on Sunday and some of them playing in this game tonight for the Liberty?
I mean, I don't know how the Liberty are doing it, but they're all back. Like there is no rest time, which a lot of fans have been complaining about because they see Kevin Durant and Devin Booker on a yacht and on a slide, enjoying their gold medal, and the women were going right back to the WNBA this week. So no, I don't think there's no time off or anything. That feels like a mistake. I don't know why a week couldn't be shaved off somewhere to allow them to do this.
Oh, because they're probably already locked in with all their postseason dates on TV, and they're working backwards from this thing. But, I mean, listen, when the hockey players were in the Olympics, they went right back to their season. You just got to do what you got to do. Anything
Which
else?
is why the Indiana Fever fans should probably, I know Caitlin not being on the team was a firestorm, but they're in a playoff race, and now you have a fresh Caitlin Clark. None of their players was playing on Team USA. Like, that might be the best thing for the team. I don't know if it's women's basketball. We could have that discussion. But Fever not having Caitlin Clark playing Team USA, now she comes in fresh, and she could have a big second half.
Still nothing for Dak Prescott or CeeDee Lamb, but the Cowboys are trading for Giants D-tackle Jordan Phillips and signing former Jets pass rusher Carl Lawson. He was a healthy scratch 11 times last season after a preseason back injury dropped him out of the D-line rotation. The Matthew Judon stalemate in New England is reportedly over, dealt to the Falcons for a third-round pick. Judon was a hold-in, waiting on a new deal. We're told a new contract is not imminent in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, really?
I mean, certainly nothing agreed to as this is going as this is being traded.
They better do something.
Why do teams keep making this mistake?
I think because, as Perloff said in the first hour or so, like the Falcons are probably willing to pay him almost anything because they're been so desperate for pass rush that they just assume they'll get to a number that they're okay with giving him.
I think your wording confused us when you say not imminent. Like that doesn't mean that they're not going to do it. They just haven't done it yet.
Right, he's not going there. But like Ayuk, he has not agreed to, or Hassan Reddick, he has not agreed to anything with the Falcons as this trade happens.
Again, I would want a framework here in place.
And it feels like this only happens with pass rushers, because we had this with Sweat going to the Bears, and they had initially not had a contract, and everybody was like, "What are they doing?" And they eventually signed him like 2 weeks later.
No, this also happened famously with Laramie Tunsil. Do you guys remember that? I believe it was Tunsil. He got traded from Miami to Houston, and I think they had the 2 first-round picks for him and never got a contract extension. And he's like, "You traded 2 first-round picks for me. I'll take all the money you have." Because you have to pay me because you just gave up so much. I'll take every single dollar.
Some soccer news this morning. Maurizio Pochettino has reportedly agreed to become the head coach of U.S. men's soccer. He's most recently Chelsea's manager, has also been at PSG and Tottenham.
That's big news.
It's big news, and it's not the first guy they wanted, but it's a pretty good pull by them.
He's been top echelon manager for the last 10 years now. We hopefully won't suck anymore.
Fingers crossed.
This is your team, Pat?
It's Team USA. It's our team.
I usually root for Italy over the USA in any major tournament, much to the chagrin of many people, but whatever.
I thought you were Irish. You're a big Notre Dame fan.
Irish. Well, the Irish. What are we good at in sports?
Swimming.
Nothing.
UFC.
That one guy that was supposed to win the long race, he choked and lost.
He won the one before that, though, the slightly shorter long race.
Yeah, but then the one that he was supposed to dominate, he lost.
How about golf?
Patty Harrington? I mean, that's really all we got to show for.
Shane Lowry?
Yeah.
Rory?
Rory's Northern Ireland. Ireland and Northern Ireland do not get along.
Pardon me. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to go. I knew exactly what was going on
Stepping away
there.
from the microphone.
Because the Northern Irish are loyal to the Queen in England, and Ireland is not. But anyway, yeah, sorry to deflect there. Half Irish, half Italian, but yes, big news for U.S. soccer getting Pochettino.
That's true. EJ's right, too. It's a king now in England that you disregard.
Whatever. They're useless anyway, and they mean nothing, and I don't care about any of them.
Last thing I got, guys, maybe the most important, it's a ray gun update. The Australian Olympic Committee is harshly criticizing a change.org petition to get Rachel Gunn removed from all Olympic record books since she manipulated the qualification process. The AOC says that is not true. They called the petition bullying. And now I've got absolutely nothing else, Pearl.
You know what? The fake news around this breakdancer, apparently it is all fake. Like, I saw stuff on the internet that her husband, like, somehow got her onto the team, and that it was a video. Here's the real woman who should have been in the Olympics.
Oh, no way.
I know. And it was, this is taking a dark turn because we can't have nice things.
Sorry, when I wasn't listening to Bogus there, I was doing some intense research.
On what?
Apparently, NFL Plus on their website frequently asked questions says you will not be able to watch Amazon games on NFL Plus. But last year in September, they announced you will be able to watch Peacock games. But I cannot see the same story for 2024. But Amazon, so I guess you can't, Amazon, they do a deal with. Peacock, it seems like we're okay. That's the big one, right? Because we all have Amazon.
Yeah, that's true.
I was listening, Bogus. I'm just kidding.
Okay, anything else you got to mention here?
No, but this is the real stuff here. Who cares about any of this stuff? How am I watching the Eagles Packers? And you're right with me. Don't pretend that you're not as obsessed with how you're going to get these games.
I already have Peacock. I pay for all these things.
For wrestling?
Yeah, no. Well, actually, you know what? I mean, indirectly, yes, because my dad and brother use my password to watch wrestling.
Way to support the family. 855-212-4227. All right, coming up, we have a Would You Rather.
Wait. I'm sorry. Because Perloff's not reading or listening. We wanted to take this moment. We try to do it all cleverly. It has not worked in any way, shape, or form all morning long. But we've got to applaud our beloved non-Margaret. Sweet Maggie Gray won something that name is escaping me right now, but it's a very significant thing yesterday.
Media Award. Top Woman in Media Award.
Top Women in Media, and we are, aside from Noah Lyles, super, super proud of you.
Thank you.
Wait, are we allowed to announce it?
I think it's out there. They sent an email about it.
Thank
you very much.
There was absolutely a press release for you and Trista, so yes.
Congratulations.
I'm devastated how much this has been bungled, by the way.
That's okay.
Bungling the announcement of this.
Thank you, guys.
Take us behind the curtain real quick. I wanted to do a surprise for Maggie and texted what I thought was Amanda, Pat, Andrew, and Perloff. And instead, because my brain automatically texts Maggie with anything happening on the show, I texted Maggie instead of Amanda saying, hey, we're going to surprise her during the Bogus update. And then we decided we're going to do it anyway. And Bogus is like, hey, tell Pearl we're going to do this. I texted Pearl we're going to do this. And we still didn't do it. So.
We're a well-oiled machine around here. And I'm sure this is what catapulted me right to the top of this category.
And no big deal that Maggie and I had a backroom discussion. Hey, let's be really smart about how we launch this and come up with a plan. No, I guess it's not important. Let's do it at the end of a sports break.
First of all, thank you guys, because I know that you had to play a big part in nominating me for this award, which is a Synopsis Media Award. So thank you, because you had to take time out of your day to do this for me, which I never thought that I would be honored in a million years. But the other women who also won in this category, there's a couple of us, they're so talented. I can't believe I'm in the same breath with them. So I'm so honored, humbled, and the fact that I had a professional writer in Andrew Perloff writing my nomination I'm sure certainly help. So whatever lies you told them, thank you. And we'll all party in October when we get to go to this ceremony.
Well, first of all, thank you, but get out of here. You totally earned this award by doing awesome work, and everybody knows that. And don't even try and pretend it's not that way. But I'm a little upset right now.
Why?
Because you haven't tweeted it out. I thought we were going to have a whole strategy and like it was going to be balloons and things and like we're going to take our time and build up and do it Spike Eskin style and build it into something and do something. Not just throw it in right now. Bogus, what are you doing?
Listening to the executive producer of the show.
Who apparently is texting everybody different plans and including Maggie.
Listen, maybe EJ is stoned. I don't know. I mean, we said he wasn't.
He's on painkillers. You trust this guy right now?
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And we'll have
congratulations. Just I say the whole month of October we celebrate. Oh, thanks. It's going to be fun.
Sure.
How about just the 8 days leading up to the ceremony?
Wait, what day is the event?
October 9th. I'm on the site right now.
Uh-oh.
You got a thing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're going to be driving to San Antonio. How did we do this? You're paying off your bet to Wemby.
I don't know. Like, I'm looking at the geography.
That means I'm not going to be there for this either because I'm meeting you there.
And where's this event?
It's a Wednesday night here in Manhattan.
Perloff's going to be like rounding Indianapolis by that time.
I'm going to be in...
the Rocky Mountains?
I'm going to be in somewhere lost in Tennessee. Well, I guess we're going to have to play with the calendar, but... Yeah, thanks, Bogus, for letting me look.
Thanks me. You didn't. You ignored all of these things. You could have very easily
because
seen
we were
it.
going to make it really cool. We were going to do something awesome production-wise.
Why didn't you respond to EJ's erroneous text or start a new thread like I did that didn't involve Maggie? You could have told us not to do it.
I thought it was a congratulations text thread. I'd already congratulated her. I couldn't weigh in that. All right, we got to take a break.
Okay, we got to take a break, and this is Jake's helping us. Is he certified by the union?
I just certified him. I gave him the Pete Bellotti stamp of approval.
Okay, Jake, send us to break, pal.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. All right, I don't know what to make of this. Clearly, Tom Brady's living his best life. He's Tom Brady, after all. He posted this to social media on YouTube, and it's basically like a montage of an awesome week he had in Paris and doing all this fun stuff. And just for theater of the mind, he's shirtless on a yacht and gave us this.
I just want to make sure all those young bucks in the NFL know that if I still wanted to come out of retirement,
All the way out. Go way out, way out. Oh!
they still got something to deal with.
Okay, so he's throwing a football to Michael Rubin, who came on our show, our new friend, CEO of Fanatics, who's on the back of a jet ski, and they're like in the Mediterranean or something. I don't know. It looks really cool. Everyone's tanned and beautiful. But Brady's going to keep putting this stuff out here, right? I mean,
no, that's not putting something out there. He was clearly joking. You heard his voice right there. That's like, for all you young bucks out there, that is like confirming that there's nothing to it. Did you hear his voice?
The shirtless, though. I mean, he's doing push-ups in the video, all that stuff. I really think that he wants to keep this a little bit alive. Now, he's going to be in the booth. We know he's going in to call games with Kevin Burkhardt on Fox. But I think he wants to keep a little of this alive. He wants teams calling him late in the season, I think, with that phone call like, hey, our quarterback just went down. What can we do to get you in here tomorrow?
Can we play the sound again? Listen, this is
an
an
older...
older...
those young bucks in the NFL know that if I still wanted to come out of retirement,
All the way out. Go way out, way out. Oh!
they still got something to deal with.
Okay.
This is a dad joke. I know this. This is like Dr. J at 64 putting in a layup and being like, watch out, young folks. Like the way he's saying that actually means the exact opposite. That means I am never coming back. He wouldn't make that joke if he was serious. Hey, all you young bucks, watch out. I'm throwing a football to Michael Rubin on a jet ski. That's not being like, hey, did you see that? Did you see the torque I had on that one? Get out of here. He's obviously kidding, Maggie.
You're telling me. So you mean to tell me, Stephen A. Voice, that if Brock Purdy goes down week 14, that Kyle Shanahan's not calling Brady?
I'm telling you right now that Kyle Shanahan is not telling one of his assistant coaches, pull up the video of Brady throwing to the guy on the jet ski and let's see what the spiral was on that pass.
Listen, I mean, I think Rubin could have had it. It was off the fingertips. You know what that means? Receiver's fault.
Because of that joke, that is definitely, and also too, I really think Brady is transitioning to the next level based on all the things we're seeing. Like We're going to see him tomorrow at Fanatics Fest.
We are.
I think like he's really embracing this broadcasting thing. I think he's got his teeth into it. And once he's so focused on something, I feel like he's going to attack that job. And no, I do not think he's interested in coming back. And just saying that to me means he's less interested. Then again, if Brock Purdy goes down, that call could come, but it has nothing to do with that video.
I don't know. I think he wants to keep it out there, looking good, shirtless. You know, like, hey, I don't have a dad bod or anything. I'm not letting myself go. I'm still keeping myself in really great shape.
Which he was never in for 18 out of 23 years of his.
Well, he had to be pliable. Now he can.
Now he can actually
work out like a regular
his,
person.
Yeah. You're never going to let it go. Like, how old does he have to be for you to let it go?
52? In the Broadcaster Hall of Fame? I don't know.
By the way, I just want to apologize to all my coworkers.
Why?
Because I'm looking at the text thread of what was supposed to happen today to congratulate Maggie on her synopsis broadcaster award, which is awesome. They were looking at me like I was crazy, and I couldn't figure out why. There was this in-depth plan texted to me about how we were going to do it. And then the last segment, I was going to say, wait, you've forgotten the biggest news of the day.
Oh, wow. There was a line that you were supposed to say?
I was given a line by our executive producer, EJ Stewart, an actual in quotes.
And you
you forgot the biggest news of the day, exclamation point. And then we announced it then. It was all planned out.
Wait, what time did that text message come in?
6:56 a.m. Eastern. And
3 hours ago.
And Bogus is just looking at me with disdain. Why isn't Perloff saying it? I had no idea any of this was going on.
Because you definitely look at your phone during the show, don't you?
No, I don't really look at my phone during the show. I'm on my computer a lot. So I think you have to email me.
Got that, EJ?
And no. Also,
send
too,
a Raven.
Next time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Mag is a 2-time winner. I'll email you.
I don't think that's how these awards
I did
work.
notice an email that seemed important. This is the last email I got from EJ. Sebastian the Ibis responded to my tweet, and he's so excited about this.
Oh.
It's Ibis, by the way, not Ibis.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were also an ornithologist in addition to being the executive producer.
You're like communicating with the Miami Hurricanes mascot?
Yeah, maybe a show bet brewing.
Ow. Thank you to Pat Boyle. Thank you to Amanda Vilas. Great to see you as always. Thank you to DJ Stewart. Thank you to Andrew Kaplan, Andrew Bogish. Thank you to everyone who nominated me for the award, including Jeff Satellano, Chris Olivero, and Ryan Hurley.